All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to the Chang Gang podcast. We are back with another episode. This is episode 74 specifically, featuring my friend Hai, aka Haich3w. What's up, Hai? How's it going tonight?
Good, man. Good. It's my weekend.
It is our
Finally.
weekend indeed. Love that. Thank you for joining the podcast. A lot of people are going to learn about you tonight for sure.
Yeah, it's good.
Welcome in, folks. So, for those who are tuning into this podcast, if this is the first podcast you've seen from me, basically we have two commands to give you a gist of what's going on. The first one is exclamation podcast. In summary, I like to host these one-on-one conversations with fellow friends that are also streamers, just to get to know more about them, and you get to hear about their life experiences and stories. Because I feel like on Twitch you meet a lot of people and you can only get to know them on like a surface level. So being able to have a deep dive into their lives is something that you could soak in for sure. Because everyone goes through different experiences. But thanks for dropping by, everybody. This podcast will be on YouTube and other platforms afterwards. Primarily YouTube though. So check that out if you do miss this. And we also have the exclamation guest command, which is a direct link to Hai's Twitch channel. He is also a streamer, as I mentioned. So for episode 74, guys, this is going to be very different. The reason why is because Hai is actually someone I've known for many, many years as compared to everyone else that I've had as a guest on Twitch. So it's been 13 years. Pretty crazy. We go way back. But the focus is not going to be on me, it's going to be on Hai. So we're going to jump right into it. Again, welcome in, Hai. Good to see you. We're going to start things off with you giving us a brief introduction of who you are, and you can also name some of your hobbies and interests.
Oh, well, first of all, thanks for having me, Wilson.
Of course.
I really do appreciate it. Some of the hobbies I actually like doing was playing basketball, but I haven't done it in a very long time, just because it's been hectic for me at work. I work at a robotic place, and I collect Pokemon cards. A lot. As you can see in the background, I was cleaning my room, but I didn't have time to clean it because there's like so much stuff. But yeah. Any other hobbies? I actually like just spending time with my like family on the weekends, so I usually try to do that. If you guys don't see me on, usually either I'm working, hanging out with family, or sleeping. Not really much.
All good. Sleeping's good. For sure. How would you explain like your personality? Like, what do you like as a person?
I always like having a good time with everyone. Like, I just don't like it when how you say it? When people are there but just on their phone. I like to try to include everybody. Try to make everyone feel comfortable as much as they can, you know? Try to be more involved. Let's see. I do love listening to people's life story too. That's why I do kind of enjoy like watching your podcast, just because I get to learn more in depth of that person, because you can see like the outer surface when you meet someone, but you don't really understand them until they talk about it.
True.
Yeah, besides that though, I do love meeting people though.
So if someone were to meet you for the first time, what can they expect? Like, what kind of energy are you gonna give off, or how vocal would you be? Kind of like an introvert, extrovert type of thing. How would you describe that?
I would try to make them feel welcome, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Just make them feel comfortable as much as I can, from what I observe, like how they interact with people, or like if I were like just to come up to them, just kind of see like where the comfort zone is. Like, I won't just run in and just give them a hug, you know, if I first meet them. It's kind of weird. Probably start with like a fist bump or like handshake or like a high five or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally thinking about it. Okay, so would you consider yourself more introverted or extroverted then?
Lately I feel like I've been more introverted, just because seeing how like being an adult sucks, and like it takes so much time out of your life, so where you just want to come home and just relax and just have your alone time. Because I started to learn like self-love, and having your alone time is very important
Mhm.
nowadays.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
I think there's like I don't think I have like major FOMO or anything anymore.
FOMO for what?
Like anything, just like if my friends were like planning to hang out or anything like that, I really have to consider like how tired I am, because I just don't want to be a drag, like when I come up or like when I meet up with people.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Like your energy?
Yeah, it's not even like social batteries or anything like that. It's just more like, like after like a long day of work, it's not like my first idea is like to go out again.
True. All right, so we're gonna talk about your background just to kind of get to know you more from like the early days. So
Hmm.
talk about how or what life was like since the day you were born, what you could remember, and then I'll ask you like specific questions.
Oh, okay. Um, let's see. So I was born. I'm not actually gonna go into detail where I was born, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go in more detail of how I grew up.
Okay.
So growing up was very hard because I originally did come to San Jose with my mom, brother, and my older sister, and we were actually homeless when we got here. So I was around like 1 or 2, and we actually slept in our car, very old car, in the late 90s. We didn't get a house until maybe a year. I think 8 months to a year or so. So be that this is what my mom told me, and it was very hard for her to talk about to me, just because like I just need to know how I grew up. So when I was talking to her, she kind of explained to me where it was really hard for her to actually um, survive here back in the days. The only reason why we actually came to San Jose was because um, my mom didn't know a lot of English, and in the area that I came from, which was San Diego, there wasn't a lot of job opportunities for my mom, while her siblings actually had learned English before coming here. It was really messy. Like, I still don't understand it to this day, but my mom wanted something new, so she ended up moving her whole family over here with my dad, but my dad ended up being a deadbeat loser and just kind of, I wouldn't say screw us, more like he just made bad decision that kind of affected us as a whole. So when we came here, we were kind of homeless. We lived in a car for a bit, and then my mom magically like found a job, and then she met friends that helped us, and they gave us a place to sleep, which was a garage. Better than a car, honestly. Like it was a lot bigger. But as years goes by, we went from a garage to the living room to a one room that was really small. I remember this vividly because the only thing that fit in there was a bed, and it was like on the side of
Jeez.
the house.
hmm
And all four of us would sleep in the same bed, and sometimes my mom wouldn't come home because she worked so late. Um, it was really hard knowing that, and I kind of remember some of it just because like I don't know what it was, but some of these memories came back. But I do remember getting, I wouldn't kind of like abused by like some of the housemates because we were like kids and they didn't really like it. But It was really rough. Like I could tell you that there was a
Mhm.
lot of people, mean people that I grew up with. So we went from living in a one room. We actually lived in a one room for like a couple years. I would say like maybe 5, 6 years until I got to like third grade, and we finally got out of that, and my mom actually got to rent a house, like an actual house, which conveniently is not like too far from me now. And that is where like my life started like going up and stuff, where like we started going from a smaller house to a bigger house to the house I'm in now. And it was pretty cool, like watching my mom kind of going through like what she needs to do just to like kind of provide for a family of like four.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm not talking about my dad too much is just because I have no idea of who he is or what's his name or how he is. The only thing I know is that he's in Vietnam right now, and he's, I believe, dying. I have been offered to go see him, and my mom wanted me to go see him, but I rejected the offer just because I don't see him as a dad. I see him as more of a sperm donor.
Mhm.
Yeah, he was very into like the whole like drug abuse. He has a smoking addiction, a drinking addiction, a gambling addiction. He really didn't do much besides, like having another family that I never knew of. Sorry, but going back to it, I'll talk to him. I'll talk more about him after.
Yeah.
He plays a really big part later, as in like where I decide to cut him off. Um, but in general, just seeing my mom kind of working really hard from going from sleeping in a car to my brother's about to walk in. Hello. Oh shit.
You knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so living from a car into the house we are now, it was really amazing to see my mom do that, and that's why I kind of tried to do my best to provide her as much stress relief as much as I can. As in, like, she doesn't work right now. Me and my brother pays all the bills. She doesn't have to worry about anything. She's living her best life right now, actually. Like, just being at home. Like, sometimes I'll come home and she'll just complain to me about how bored she is.
Wow.
But she doesn't want to work at the same time. But then she does want to work, and then I'm just so confused. So I just tell her she could just do whatever she wants. But and I know that like how he says like go into more depth because you already know this. You see my mom,
Hmm.
yeah. So now I think it's been a while you actually see my mom. But
Yeah.
before, when
As
she was working, yeah, she's a lot more different now. But yeah, so growing up, I moved school to school until third grade, and I stayed at Meadows for the longest time. And that's where I met like some of the like my friends to this day. Like a couple years ago, I had a high school, elementary reunion. It was kind of cool seeing all of them growing up. Like one's a doctor, one's a manager at TikTok, one is like manager at like different stores, and I'm over here just working at robotics.
yeah.
So it was like a really nice like kind of like glimpse of like before and after kind of thing. Like seeing how much people can change over like such a short amount of time. Um, middle school was cool. I don't remember a lot from middle school just because like I felt like there was nothing significantly happening at the time. It was more like towards high school of like when I started to become or like started to figure out like what kind of person I was. I was a very I was someone that wanted to be accepted in high school, and at the same time, at the same time, I kind of did things that I don't really want to remember, but it's just always gonna be a part of me that I live through and just have to accept. Um, yeah, so like growing up in high school, you just had to get like the newest things, right? The newest clothes, like it was really hard for my mom to get me all of that, and I used to be very ungrateful, and I used to be like, oh, why can't we have this? Why can't we afford this? Why was I born in this family? Yada yada yada. And it was horrible.
Mhm.
Like my that mindset really pissed me off. Like I don't as a kid I kind of accepted it, but now like when I'm looking back and everything, I feel really bad.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what the value of a dollar was until like I started working and starting to understand like, oh, money. Like $5 is a lot. It doesn't seem like a lot, but honestly it is. So back then I used to be very ungrateful to my mom, and I used to complain, bitch, whine. And I think like the most things that ever happened was in high school too. I was I felt very outcasted. I don't think I was like I felt honestly like I don't think I was like a nobody in high school. I felt like I was actually someone well known around high school because I danced, you know, play sports. I talked to a lot of people. I knew people going into high school and stuff like that. And I would always try to fit myself in by doing things that they like. It can go from like making fun of someone, bullying, sports, activities, like things like that.
Yeah.
And like just to be in good grace with like the people I like thought was cool or like looked up to or like stuff like that. Um, I would just do whatever it takes to just fit in with that crowd of people, and it
Yeah.
sucked.
Hmm.
I didn't realize that until like so we'll go through a timeline, right? So freshman year.
Wait. Before you go through like the details of high school, let's kind of split things up, right?
Oh,
Because there's like some questions I have about like when you were a kid, like even before high school. So I'll go there. First of all, talk about the diversity in the city, like where you grew up, just so we could kind of get like a mental image of what it was
oh,
like, your surroundings. How would you describe our area?
oh, okay. So in the area when we first, the most recent vivid like memory I have of me being a child and hanging out with friends were actually when we actually moved into that one garage. I think I was around like 5, 6,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a park that was 10 minutes away that me and my brother and my older sister would go to. So, more insight of my family is my younger brother is only a year younger than me, and my older sister is 7 years older than me. So we looked up to my older sister as like our second parent growing up, just because my mom would. So the timeline of how I see my mom was: I wake up, she's sleeping, I would go to school, I get home, she's getting ready for work. Um, doing homework, I finish homework, she's about to go to work, and then I'll be sleeping, she'll be at work, she gets home, I'm sleeping, I wake up, same rinse and repeat for many years. And she didn't really have days off, so even on the weekends, like me, my brother, and my sister had to find ways to eat.
Mhm.
Um, the most popular thing for us to eat was, and fun fact is like this is why I don't eat it today. It's just because I don't. I'm so sick of it. It's cup of noodles, The dollar, it's like a red box. It's like a meal prep thing where you just throw in a microwave for 3 minutes and you eat that shit. Usually it has like beef, peas, potatoes, and some other things. So, and pho. If anyone asks me why I don't like pho, that is like one of the reasons. It was cheap to make and it was there for weeks.
Hmm.
So, fun fact, I don't like pho as a Vietnamese person. Growing up, my surrounding was very ghetto. There was a lot of gangs. There was a lot of fights. It wasn't the safest neighborhood. These kids are pretty ratchet. You know, they cuss at the age of 6, man. This is where I learned all of my cussing words and slurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are my neighbors, but they were cool. They were really nice to us. They weren't nice to other people, but they were nice to us. Um, I didn't feel super like in danger, like living there, just because like we knew these people inside and out because we kind of grew up and talked to them a lot because they're like our only like neighbor.
Hmm.
Um, I could never understand why they were like that. Just because like so young and my mom didn't know a lot of English, but they helped my mom a lot. They kept us very safe. Like if a stretchy car like comes by, they'll wait outside, just watch them pass by. I did spend a lot of time outside as a kid too, growing up. So that's why we interact with them a lot because back then we didn't have a TV or a computer. So our only activity was like to go out and just do anything, from playing soccer to like playing catch to playing, like the fuck you call it, like imaginary things, what kids do, and go to the park. But my mom had this funny strict rule where if the street lights, you know how they turn on at a like a specific time.
Hmm.
I think it's like around 6 or 5. Oh, if that shit's on and I'm still out, I get my ass beat. At that point, don't go home.
It's like curfew. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like curfew. So every time I like look out or like look up or something and the street lights on, I'm scared as shit, dude. Like I just already know I'm going home and getting an ass beat. My mom used to be a very strict mom and like she used to like think like very Asianly, like oh, discipline is gonna help you grow as a person. Which I think has some things to do with my personality to this day. Um, I I honestly feel like you have to be very straightforward with things. Like my mom was trying to teach me, like like if you don't follow the rules, you're gonna get in trouble, and it's true. But yeah, growing up, there was a lot of gangs, a lot of fighting, a lot of like bad people out there. But uh, oh, and there was really nothing around me at the time. I think that house is in McKee, like near the McKee area, near the bridge. Yeah. Um. Yeah,
For
and that's all
sure.
I remember from kind of growing up as a kid until we actually moved into. So past that, from my first like garage living area to an apartment, and that place wasn't even safe too. There was a lot of gangs and fights, and sometimes you hear like gunshots here and there. I didn't know what it was as a kid, so I kind of just left it how, like just kind of mind my own business kind of thing. Yeah, we were terrified and everything, but it was cool, I guess. Um, then moving to the house, my first house. My first house, we there was a lot more safer like areas at this house. Like if you go down the street, maybe 2 blocks down, it gets dangerous. But if you go backwards 2 street down, then it's all safe. It's kind of
Yeah.
weird. So we were never allowed to go, 2 street backwards or like forward. My mom always forbid us. And we went over there just to check it out, and we did get in trouble. But I can see why it was kind of dangerous. It was like near a junkyard with like all these like scary things. Like there's like, oh, broken cars, there was glass everywhere, there was broken bottles, there were cigarettes on the floor. Um, there were some like freaks out there, like like the weirdest thing I seen, like this hobo guy with a freaking like broken ass bottle trying to stab someone. Like every single day, he was just looking for someone to stab. And he was still on the street for like good 3 weeks until someone did something. It was so weird. Um, but yeah, living in that house was very, it was very important to me. Like it started to feel like normal. Like I think growing up, I wanted to feel normal. I didn't want to feel like this poor kid that everyone kept saying, like, oh, like he wears rip up clothes, he wears hand me downs, he wears, dirty clothes and stuff like that. It was growing up, it was quite embarrassing, like as a kid, thinking about it.
Hmm.
Like I would have holes like on my shoulders or like under my armpit or like under my shirt, right? Or like it was very embarrassing just going through all that. And these kids with nice clothes and stuff like that, they kind of treat you differently. They kind of feel bad for you. So they kind of like befriend you, but kind of look down on you at the same time as kids.
Yeah.
Like they'll show off like something that they got for their birthday or something. Um, so they're kind of mean. I didn't really think about it until like growing up later. And I was like, damn, these kids are kind of dick.
Yeah, those are other kids, but how about your own family? What was your relationship like with your siblings and
Oh,
even your
we
parents from before versus now? Because you mentioned a little bit like how you looked up to your sister and how your mom did a lot and you were ungrateful, but like compare it from back then versus now with like everyone in your family.
Oh, dude, my brother, and my sister were never close. Like we were just roommates at that point. Growing up, we had like our own interests. We had our own like things that we were going through. Um, for one thing, a lot of people like my brother a lot more growing up, so they would hang out with him more than they would hang out with me. I would stay inside. All right, personally, I wasn't planning to talk about this, but me growing up as a kid, I was actually a hospital kid. And what a hospital kid is a kid that has health defects growing up, such as breathing problems, um, easily getting sick, um, very ill, very weak. Like I remember waking up one day after coming home from school and I started yakking everywhere, and I fainted, and my mom rushed me to the hospital. Actually, my mom didn't rush me. It was my neighbor. He rushed me to the hospital, and then my mom met up with him. And I stayed in the hospital for a good like 2 months until I was released. And then maybe it was very hard. Like I thought I was gonna die. That's how it feels. It feels very rough. Like I felt like I lived at the hospital more than I lived at my house sometimes. And my brother was very healthy. He was a golden child until my baby sister came out, and then that's when things started happening. Like everything kind of changed. That's when a lot of things changed. My perspective, my brother's attitude, and my sister. And so my older sister was already older than us. She was like in middle school already, so she was like she has her own friends, she has her own like issues that she deal with. But she did have to grow up a lot sooner than she should have, just because like she had us to take care of, with my mom being super busy. So she would like try her best to take care of us but live her life at the same time, which did not mesh well, because I remember just being like maybe like 8 or 9 home alone with my brother, and it was just me and him at the house until like 3 in the morning. Sometimes we'll just like stay inside and just like look outside the window for like hours. We weren't really close. We did bicker and fight a lot. I did fight my brother a lot. I did. My sister used to beat me up just because she always thought I had a bad attitude, which I did. I'm not ashamed to do it, to say it. I was a very I was a very hard kid to take care of, to be honest. Like I would throw tantrums, I would cry, bitch, complain, and I would draw on the walls, and that would have us kicked out of the house many times. I would just straight up grab a crayon and just fucking go to town with that wall. Um, yeah. So growing up, my relationship with my family was very messy. I didn't see my mom. Sometimes I will forget how she looked like. And on special days where she doesn't have work, because I don't know what reason, but I remember like that's the only time that we actually get to spend time together is when she doesn't have work, and we would just stay in, watch a movie, and then go to sleep. Nothing like going out or anything like that. And it was really like growing up. It was kind of funny because I don't eat fast food as much anymore, like at all. But McDonald's back then to me was like 5-star dining.
Luxury, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember when like sometimes my mom would see like I'm really sick and no one's home to take care of me, she would just buy me McDonald's and just leave it. Um, Now it's actually better because we're now it's a lot better. I'm very family orientated. I fought for 3 years to get my family together, and we we plan a lot of family things together. Like it's kind of funny to say, but like if I were to ask my any of my siblings, my younger brother and my older sister for money, they would give it to me without any question. I have done this before as like I just wanted to see, and I have asked my brother for $1,000 without any like details or anything, and he told me sure. He was like, "When do you need it?" And I told him maybe a week, and he goes, "Okay." And I did it to my older sister, but it's not. My older sister is a little different. She's more of a logical person. She goes, "Why? Something happened? What do you need it for?" And I told her I was like, "Oh, I got into trouble and I need to pay it off." And she goes, "Okay." But back then, if I were to ask him for like $1 or like a bite of their meal or like a bite of their food, they would instantly say no. Like there was like no love in my family back then. But now it took me 3 years. It took a lot of like buying, crying, leaving home, and other things, as in like it was a really shit show for 3 years just to get my family together. But I'm glad I did that because them going from roommates to my actual family that I actually care for. And I think it's like the biggest reason why I work so hard nowadays. Trying to, get promoted, trying to make a life, career.
Mhm.
Like all the money I make to this day doesn't even go to me. It goes into my savings and plus it goes to them. If I have extra money, I will take them out to eat or I will buy them something nice. Because I think they are the core reason why I'm actually truly happy with my life now. It's because of them. And going from like strangers to family, it has been very weird. Just getting used to it. Like my sister started like hosting these family dinners. My younger brother has been like supporting us with anything we need, and I'm just there to keep everyone in check. Where we wouldn't have any secrets or like shit talking in my family because we used to do that a lot and I hated it. So that's how my family relationship is now. We're very close. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you for talking on that. Um, so I know you mentioned that your little sister came into the picture, how did
Mhm.
that actually change things, and like what was like the timeline for that? Because you mentioned your older sister's like 7 years apart, your brother's a year under.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
maybe around 10 when I was in like almost going to, I believe, middle school. My younger sister Kaylee actually came into the picture, and it's kind of funny. I'm gonna talk shit about who right now, but this bitch got so mad that Kaylee became like the biggest attention in our family that he threw so much tantrums that pissed me off to the point where we would get into so many fights just because of how like shitty he was back then. Just because he used to be the golden child and he got replaced by my younger sister, and like it was so funny. Like whenever she gets a gift, he wants a gift. Whenever I get a gift, he wants a gift. Like on my birthday, he gets a better gifts than I do, just because his tent. And it's so fucking funny. And we talk about this to this day. He would make fun of her, like he would, he would like, oh, you are a monkey, you know, like you have a unibrow, you have big ass ears, you know. And it was so funny because now we look back at it, like it was just so funny. Kaylee, I started wanting to be more family orientated when Kaylee kind of grew up a little bit as like a kid, around the age of 8 and 10. I'm 10 years older than her, so I, you know, I put my foot down and I try to be this greatest like older brother and try to give her the best things I can. So she was the reason why I attempted to, you know, do better in school, tried to go through college, but later on, something happened and I was forced to stop going to college and actually work full time. But I didn't let that kind of like stop me from growing as a person. So I work as hard as I could, make as much money as I can, help my mom, and take her out and give her the life that I wanted. And this has been my life goal since like 16, where I started working. Or sorry, 15. And my first job was Banana Republic at Great Mall.
Yeah, we'll talk
And
about your jobs for sure.
yeah, um, she, growing up, I saw how much she cared about us, like how much love she gave us as a kid. And I pour my heart out into giving the life that I don't ever want her to go through, which is always struggling with money, worrying about her next meal, and like just like always like I don't ever want to see her picked on or cry. And that's like the biggest thing. So I made sure of that to make sure that that doesn't happen. And it was kind of hard because, you know, making that much money as a kid is not really a lot, because you kind of get like greedy. So you're just like, oh, I can afford to go eat, I can do these things and stuff like that. Um, and then for my older sister, she became a lot more like a better older sister, if that makes sense, where she actually like sacrificed more time hanging out with her friends or like school events to be with us ever since Kaylee was home, because she was a baby. Oh man, it was so funny. She went to go, she went to go get something for us, and she didn't drive at the time, so she took the bus and she had, it was like 20 minutes away. Kaylee, like, she shit herself so bad as a baby, like me who are like maybe like 11, 10, and we were freaking out because it was like leaking, and we're like, oh fuck. So I remember who freaked out and he called my sister crying on the phone and going, we don't know what to do. And uh, it was okay. This memory is just super random, but it was like the most vivid thing I thought was so funny as being a like an older brother or something like that. And my sister like straight up like ran 20 minutes home just to change a diaper just to go back out. It was so funny. Like she was like almost there, and then she just ran back home, and then yeah, it was a shit show. Yeah, but my sister became a lot better. Became a very strict sister. She would put me in who in headlocks and like the Boston Crab and like any wrestling move you can think of. She was a very big wrestling fan, and I became a very big wrestling fan too.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and my mom just kind of like she's always been motherly. She just never could have showed it just because she's been like working and everything. Had hardly any time to see us. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so it's up to you and your level of comfort. Talk. I'm just trying to get the mental image of like how long did you stay with your dad for before he split from you guys, and then obviously someone else had to come into your lives for Kaylee to be born, right? So talk about that too after. What was it like, the dynamic with that person?
Um. Yeah, that's fine. Fuck you, Vinny. Um. So I was. It's kind of hard to say. So I'm gonna pretend I'm just talking to you. I'm not gonna look
Okay.
at chat.
Okay.
I was a unwanted child growing up, from my dad's point of view. He wanted my sister and he wanted my brother, but he didn't. He never wanted me. Um, he said he said to me that I was such a problem in life where like he feels like I'm the reason why my family was poor, from going to the hospital, being sick and everything. And this is very personal and I try not to talk about it too much, but I don't mind because I'm a lot older and I don't really give a shit anymore. He attempted to kill me at the age of 5 when I was sleeping, and he this is how we departed. He he went crazy one day and he went to my room in the middle of the night with a knife. And this is coming from my mom. And he tried to suffocate me, and then if that didn't work, then the next thing comes. And my mom stopped him, took me out, grabbed the kids, and left the house. We didn't return after 2 months. We stayed at like a friend, a very close friend of my mom's, and he went to jail. And as a kid, it was not too traumatizing until you grow up and you start having these night terrors, which occurs to like having recent memories of like trauma. And it wasn't like the easiest thing to swallow, but it was something that I need to know why or how everything happened. So we went for the last time to visit him in jail, and then we moved without telling him anything. And we had a restraining order. We made sure that he could never get closer to us, and that was the last
Wow.
time I saw him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the only reason why he reached out maybe a couple years ago was because he was dying, and I guess he has some guilt in him that he wants to talk to me about. Because when he asked us to go see him, he only asked for me to go, and I told him no. He, I don't give a shit. Like, no matter what, I don't see him as my dad. I don't see him as anything. I don't think it's pettiness or like anything. It's just more like he was never in my life in the first place. So that's why I believe like family is not connected through blood. If that makes sense.
It's deep. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so, if that answered your question about, so we went from the relationship between my family back then to now, and then my dad. My dad actually has another family, and they are my house siblings. They found me on Instagram around the same time, maybe around 2013, 14,
Hmm.
and they actually reached out to me saying like, "Oh, you know, it's kind of weird. Like you're working one day and you get a message from Instagram, and they go, "Hey, hi, I hope you've been well. I know that seems kind of sudden, but this is your sister talking." And I was like, "The fuck." So they end up making a trip down from SAC to here to come actually talk to us about it. And I went from having just maybe like five siblings to two, three, to eight, to 10. And they already had kids too. And it was crazy. And I was like, oh, damn. Like, I didn't know. I thought I only had like one niece at the time, but now I have like eight. And, you know, Christmas got more expensive.
Way to put it. Yeah, they're all older.
Yeah, they're a lot older. Technically, I'm actually in the middle of the whole family. Like I'm like just just like right in the middle.
Yeah.
I actually forgot to mention something. The only full-blooded sibling I have is my brother, which is two. My older sister is my half sibling, and my younger sister is my half sibling. I do have a sister, a stepsister, that's my older sister's age, because my how Kaylee was born was um my older sister Nee and my older sister Kim are friends from high school, and they got they somehow got my mom to meet her dad, and they ended up being together for 6 years, and they had Kaylee, and that's how Kaylee was born, and that's how I got another older sister, which was Kim.
Let's see. Hmm.
Yeah, I forgot to mention it.
Wow.
So
What was that like?
that's
Having
uh
Kim's like part of your family and her father.
oh, I love Kim. Kim was the reason why I got into like arts and and music. She was like a really big fan of rock, so she showed me rock, and that's why I grew up with listening to like Slipknot, um, Theory of a Dead Man, Linkin Park back then, stuff like that. Um, Paramore, Firefly, System of a Down. I, I actually looked up to her more than my older sister, just because I felt like I had better conversation with Kim than her.
Like a connection
Who
in
was
general.
yeah, connection wise.
Hmm.
Um, she was always like a really bad kid back then, but like seeing her grow up, she's actually a mom now. Kind of crazy. Never thought that she would have a kid, but she does. Yeah, so Kaylee did play a big part in all our lives, and Kim did too. Kim played a very big part.
Yeah, was it weird for you to have like another male authority figure?
Uh, Honestly, before that, my mom did had like boyfriends that would like live with us. They Some of them were okay. I never liked any of them until I actually did like one of them, but he ended up being the worst. Yes, he was like the closest thing I could say to a father figure that I could have ever gotten, just because how strict, how caring, how much he did for us. But as a kid, you don't see everything that goes on. I didn't know that he was cheating on my mom. I didn't know that, he was very stingy with his money when it comes to our family. Like he would promise us this and that, and as a kid you don't really take that to heart. you will just be like, oh, okay, and then it doesn't happen, it's fine, right? But the amount of time that I would recall him saying or doing things, it would add up so much to the point where he was just being very manipulative to my whole family. Um, yeah, so he's a piece of shit. Uh, yeah, and he hurt my mom really bad, and he tried to come back to our family, and honestly, like I was gonna, my brother and I wanted to beat him up so bad, but my mom didn't want anything bad happening. So she kind of just laid down that we don't want him anywhere near us anymore. And it was very hard for her because she's a very nice person. She's the type of person that, like, if you do anything remotely, like, close to nice, she will be there for you forever. She'll, like, take care of you. She'll feed you. She'll, like, if you need something, she'll try her best. And I think that's where I got my personality from too. Is my mom. That's why I really don't see money as such a big value. Like, I know there's some people that I have like bought food for, like spend money on, or like even like when we go out to eat or something, I will offer to pay and not ask for the money back. It's just because, like, I feel like I'm paying for those memories or those time spent with that person. Personally speaking, I know it's not. It's supposed to be like very like detailed and everything, but I'm pretty sure you have seen it, Wilson, since we've been friends for like 13 years.
Yeah, yeah, I have for sure. I agree.
And I think that's where I got it from, is from my mom, because
Yeah,
she does it a lot, and it's nice. It's like I'm not valuing someone's friendship for like one meal. I'm like actually putting money into like investing into a long-term relationship with this person, and you know like I just don't want money to be involved between our relationship. Like, I don't want to lose a friendship because of money,
yeah,
which it has,
understandable. Hmm.
yeah, which I lost many friends because of that. Like, they will buy me food, and then we get into a fight and they bring it up saying like, oh, I did so much for you, or like I paid for you, or like, like when you were down bad, I was there for you. And I'm like, okay, it make it sound like I never done anything for you too. But some people are just different, I guess.
Very true. Okay, so that's family talk. We're gonna
Hmm.
talk more specifically about your schooling experience now, but we'll start off with academics. How did you perform throughout your education when it comes to academics grades?
um uh
You start laughing.
so no, yeah, no, it's because I just had this conversation with someone, that's why. Okay, so I actually had a learning disability as a kid. I was a very slow learner. I had reading problems, and I had a learning issue where, like, I forgot to call. I was in multiple educational help, from tutoring to, I think it's called EDD, where it's education development something. And what it is they would take 5 minutes of your recess and 5 minutes of your next class to put you in a tutoring session where they're gonna explain to you what you're about to do and what you're about to learn, to kind of give you like a run up of like what's gonna happen.
Mhm.
They did have I was signed up into an after school program, that kind of review of the day, and kind of see like, oh, what did I miss or what did I not understand. And it was like 20 minutes of independent reading. But I kind of grew out of it around middle school, where I had no problem learning. I was pretty caught up with the class. I didn't have like educational problems or anything like that. So from elementary to middle school, it was fine. I didn't really fail any classes or anything. I think around high school, I started to feel like where how I talked about fitting in and everything.
Mhm.
That's where I started like kind of like rolling with everything that would fit me in or see me as a better person to my peers. Um, I would like ditch class. I would play play Yu-Gi-Oh, during class, Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Ditching school, not caring about my education until until I met Quinn, which was my first real relationship that I had in high school.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about relationships after too.
Yeah. She's actually the reason why I started trying harder in school. And towards senior year, I mean, I was always on track to graduate until senior year,
Mhm.
at the end of senior year. But that's more of a later talk too.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, until the end of senior year, I think I was like 2 points away from not graduating. But I ended up taking a recovery class for 3 months and I ended up passing and then we graduated.
Yeah, so it came
Yeah.
pretty close.
They kind of told me when I got to senior year, it was the fact that like I could not fail. Yeah, I would say close. Yeah, I would say close too, actually. I mean, there was kids that were like missing like 8 classes, so you know, I wasn't in their shoes, so that was cool.
So what else did you do in school? Like when it comes to sports, clubs, activities?
Oh, I was actually cool. All right, this is easy to talk about. Um, in school, can we talk about like how I met you and everything?
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Okay, you're cool with that. Okay,
If it's even you're involved with all this stuff, sure.
yeah. So if you guys didn't know, Wilson is actually the person that actually got me back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh. And I first met him in freshman year in math class, which is I believe first period, right?
Yeah.
First period, yeah. Second period, third, yeah. First period, I met him. I don't remember how we brought up Yu-Gi-Oh. I think you had a binder with you or something, or you had Yu-Gi-Oh cards on you.
I did. I did.
You did.
It was because of our other friend Don.
Oh yeah. So we got into, and then I started investing more into Yu-Gi-Oh whenever I had like extra money or here and there. And so collecting Yu-Gi-Oh throughout high school was pretty cool. Meeting people like Timothy Perez to, meeting people that actually play Yu-Gi-Oh in high school. I really forgot most of their names. I'm not gonna lie. Do you remember that tournament you had?
Yeah. Long time ago. Yep. Yep.
Oh man, that was funny, dude. Yeah, yeah.
Tennis
Damn,
courts.
dude, that's kind of crazy. Think about it.
I've been
You
hosting tourneys for like 13 years.
Yeah, I know. Yo, what the fuck? You started your first tourney as Yu-Gi-Oh, bro.
Mm.
Um, what's crazy that we were never close in high school.
To a degree, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say we were like super close. After freshman year, I think it was just like blank.
Hmm.
Besides Yu-Gi-Oh, I did play sports. I tried out. I was on the football team, the JV football team for freshman year, and the swimming team freshman year. Um, I did. I did join certain clubs. but the one club that stand out to me the most was my club that I ended up becoming president for was the breakdancing club. Um, there was an established like breakdancing club already at YB, but I ended up taking over it, giving it a name, doing more with it, interacting with different schools, practicing more, and that's where I kept finding myself more like involved with dancing, not just breakdancing, but like to crumping, to like hip hop, to ballet, to other things, and dancing became something I loved and enjoyed, and I would invest more time into. Like after school, I would go to this cheerleading gymnasium that helped you learn flips and practice there every single day, and it was called Vegas, and it was cool. So I would say sports was my hobby, Yu-Gi-Oh was my hobby, breakdancing was my hobby, and I think that's it. Oh, and League of Legends when the
Gaming,
game first
yeah.
came out. Yeah.
How did you end up with football and swimming, and then like how'd you get out of it?
Mm, for football, I thought, well, do you remember how I told you I kind of tried to do whatever I could to fit in
Yeah.
with my peers?
Hmm.
Most of my friends were joining football and they asked me to join with them. And the reason why I got out was because I was a very small kid. So I would never ever see like playtime or anything like that. So I was like, yeah, this maybe it's not for me. So I had a mindset of easily quitting where it feels like if it felt very like a waste of time to me, I would quit. So football really felt like it was a waste of time for me. So I quit. Swimming, my best friend since elementary was on the swimming team. He asked me to join because, freshman year, you want to try out all these things from joining clubs to sports to meeting new people.
Yeah.
And I ended up joining the swimming team. It was pretty fun. I did 200 meters and I did 100 free, and I think that's it. And it was pretty cool. Like I never thought swimming was a sport until I joined it and realized how hard it is. So I ended up staying there, and then I quit sophomore year to pursue more into breakdancing.
Hmm.
And then junior year, same thing. I still pursued dancing, and I felt like I was at my peak junior year until senior year. That's when I joined badminton.
What
So
got
that
you
was cool.
into badminton?
It was actually because of Jimmy. Jimmy,
Hmm.
he is a really good friend of ours or of mine, and he was like a very big role model to me in high school because I looked up to him. He was very smart. He was really good with his words. He was really he felt very like caring towards me. Like he always looked out for me. He always called out for my shits. He kind of teach me things that I would never learn. He invested a lot of time into me, and I'm very grateful for him. So seeing that like he was like a role model to me, I guess I kind of just followed him and just kind of see why he likes doing things. So badminton was something he loved to do, and I end up loving badminton. So I joined for a year and I made varsity, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about your favorite memories from breakdancing and badminton.
I think my favorite memory of breakdancing was actually hosting a school event with Evergreen, Silver Creek, and Andrew Hill. We had a we had a school royale where we would sign up for to represent our school, and I was one of the representative for YB. And we end up like getting like I think like second. No, we got third place. Yeah, yeah. Oak Grove, Independence. No, Oak Grove, Evergreen, YB, Andrew Hill. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. Like meeting all these people from different school and doing the same thing that everyone loves and everything, and seeing like the different like style everyone had, or like it was pretty cool. Like I thought breakdancing was such a cool thing to know. Like it's not like every day you see someone spinning their fucking head, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought that was pretty cool. Um, Especially meeting all the people around like different schools was like one of the best parts. Like I still connected to them. I still connected with them to this day, actually. Some of them, and like breakdancing has been a like a dying thing lately. So like not a lot of people do it anymore.
Yeah.
Um, for badminton, actually making varsity was actually a very proud achievement that I was trying to work for. And it was like one of my best memories when I was told that I made it into varsity for only playing for a year. We also like all like a- like the things we do after the games, like go out to eat or hang out. It was
Yeah.
really fun. I think like those are like my favorite memories. We will go to parks.
Nice. Okay, so based on everything you did in high school, what do you think your high school stereotype was? What were you known as?
I think it's kind of hard to answer without kind of giving details of like how my high school was, right?
Yeah, of course. You could explain it and yeah, give us the details.
Um, so from when I was talking about like kind of fitting in and everything,
Hmm.
I kind of did something I regretted, and it came to my senses that sometimes people are not good for you, and they don't always have their like best intentions for you. So I end up having a fallout with one of some of my close friends, and it became a very big thing where like it felt like I was very outcasted from my class. Um, so I went from fitting in to having a fallout where a lot of people dislike me just because of um, I felt like I was very misunderstood. I told them that I didn't like how they talk about certain people because they were different. I didn't like the bullying. It never felt right to me. I'm no saint or anything. It was never my intention to make someone feel the way they felt. Um so after that fallout, a bunch of my classmates disliked me, and it was really hard going through high school because when you feel outcasted, you tend to not be involved with activities. Um, it was really depressing to kind of see like I couldn't join certain activities because of certain people. But you know, kids will be kids. I felt I felt fine being by myself just because I had other people that I cared about, like from other schools that would hang out with me, talk to me, involve me into like things they're doing. And these are like the breakdancing people I met along the way. And I was bullied for technically they called me things like homie hopper, where I would jump group to group, you know, be hella fake, try to be accepted by them. But honestly, it was just like these people are like just people that I bond with through one common interest. And high school didn't really feel like high school for me. It just felt like more of a battle towards like the people I used to be close with, and you know, the people that doing what I was doing, where they were trying to fit in and just doing whatever they could. So it was a lot of shit talking, a lot of fighting, Not a lot of physical fighting, more like verbal, mentally, stuff like that. Um, but I did try to steer away from like being noticed too much around them, where like during lunch or break or anything like that we had free time of, I would just concentrate on my breakdancing club and just trying to find or figure out things that we could do. Like I did attend like outside of school events, such as like breakdancing events, like Ninja the Underground, Cinco de Mayo, stuff like that. And what they are is like they're breakdancing competition for any age, and there's cash prize, merch, stuff like that. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. They sell like elbow pads, beanies, shirts, you know. So I don't know. It just felt nice, just doing my own thing. To be honest, I felt better knowing that I was trying to be myself rather than being someone I wasn't. And I think my toxic trait followed me throughout high school, where I was pretty petty, where I feel like I want the worst thing to happen, where if someone did me wrong, I would want them to hurt. I don't think like that nowadays, not as much, but back then I was very really emotional. Um yeah, I think that's it. So I would say my personality is like was to kind of focus on what I loved and what I like to do, and tried to not care about what people say about me, but it was really hard back then.
Yeah.
Um, Honestly, my best advice where I learned in high school was no matter how much you try to not listen. Oh, sorry. No matter what you try to do, you can never stop someone from talking about you. And that made more sense to me as I was growing up. I think. Do you remember Miss Rocha,
Yeah.
the dance teacher? Yeah, she's the one that told me that. And I didn't understand it in high school until like later when I was like in college. I started to realize like that's true. Like no matter what you do in life, there's always someone that's gonna talk about you, and you can never ever stop them.
Hmm.
So why care? And it's harder said. It's harder done than said, right? But something you just gotta, have strong will and just go with it.
Hmm. So with all that as like a backstory, what would you say your stereotype is, or was?
What do you mean by stereotype? Sorry.
Like at least by the end of your high school career, what were you known as
That
on
kid
the
that
outside?
breakdance a lot.
Mm.
Yeah, I was known as. I was actually more. Some people thought I was popular. I don't think so. I was well known. Like you would have heard about me at least once from somewhere, either bad or good.
Breakdancing.
Yeah, breakdancing, badminton, or like just being friends with like different people.
So you mentioned bullying. Um, so have you ever specifically been bullied? If so, talk about what you went through and how you overcame it.
Yeah. Um, I was actually been bullied since elementary to high school, but I think the worst was elementary actually.
Mhm.
Since I was that hospital kid for a very long time, people thought I had like a virus. So people would tend to stay away from me or call me names or would like call me like the icky boy or something like that. Like there was a lot of kids that would stay away from me and it was really annoying. Like it felt very unnatural. Like, can you imagine just walking into a room and people just like standing, like taking like 6 step back and just doing this? It sucks. As
It's
a kid,
tough, yeah.
like, yeah. And how I overcame it was just like I kind of just tried to not pay too much mind to it and just kind of move on with my life. Even though it sucked and everything, sometimes you just have no choice but to just ignore it. And for high school with the bullying where like people would call me fake or like misunderstand me or like say all these things, I would, just try to focus on what I was doing and just, try to distract myself from all the negativity, even when it did affected me. Besides that, how I don't think I ever overcame it. I just think like I just did my best to just do what I wanted to do.
To bear with it and go through
Hmm.
like your normal life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, also gonna ask, did you end up going to any of your homecomings or proms?
Oh, I did. I did. Even knowing that like there's people that didn't like me that were on the committee or like that was gonna be there. Like I said, I kind of just pushed through and just did what I wanted to do, and I went to junior prom, I went to senior prom, I went to homecoming, I went to winter balls, Sadie's. It was fun.
So they were all good experiences, basically.
Yeah, I don't think I ever had a bad experience out of dances. Oh, actually one. Winter ball sophomore year.
Why is that bad?
I got into a fight with my girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was pretty
Okay.
bad.
Anyways, aside from that, have you ever sustained any like severe injuries from like breakdancing and the sports you were a part of?
Yeah, I actually have 2 scars on my wrist and my leg. My left
Ooh.
knee has stitches and a metal, like a piece of metal inside. Um, it's actually from after high school, and the reason why I can't dance anymore is because it hurts too much and I can't keep it straight. And breakdancing has a lot of form where like you had to do certain things to actually do it, so it kind of stops me. And then on my wrist, I actually broke it when I was a baby, when I was a kid. It's actually it's kind of hard to see, but there's like the stitch mark is still right here. And what happened was I fell really bad and end up like fucking up my wrist. Oh, and my sister landed on my head, and there's like a scar right here. She was on the monkey bars. I was a kid. She fell and she landed on my head, and I was bleeding. And she carried me back, and she was crying, and my mom was freaking out, and I was like, I lost a lot of blood.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, that's scary. All right. So after high school, how did you transition to like your college life? What was that life like? Give us an overview from there up until today. And then I'll ask you specific questions. So you don't have to get into like super details, but I'll ask
Yeah.
after.
Mm, After high school, I actually did attempt to go to college, and this is where I came. This is where I was talking about like, oh, something dramatic happened for me to kind of drop out of college to work was because um, my mom wasn't making enough to actually pay for our housing, and she was struggling really bad to the point where she got sick. So I made the decision to take up 2 jobs and work. So I worked at Fry's and Sweet Basil, and it was really hard because like for someone that just got off high school to work 2 jobs waking up from 5 to 3 to like, like 7 or something. It was really long. There was like almost no days of off or anything. But the money was good. I mean, like I was kind of happy having money. It was just like there was no time. Um, so after that, I attempted to go back to college. No, I didn't. I went to go look for another job, and I ended up working at a milk tea place for a couple of years called Moo Bar. Yeah, very long. And worked there for a couple of years. Well, on top of that, trying to work a second job. Some of the second job was like at a fall place, at Shabuway. Where else? And some other restaurants. And I must say, like restaurants pays pretty well. Like the tips and everything and the hourly, it gives you pretty good money.
Mhm.
Um, I'm trying to think of all my past jobs. So sweet basil, fries, Moo Bar, Shabuway, Poor Boys, Fall Place. Oh, and then when me and my recent, or not my recent, my longest relationship ended, is where I tried to start it to get my life back together. Where I realized how comfortable I was just making the bare minimum. So that is how I end up working at a robotic, at a hospital that paid pretty well. And I felt like it was a career job until I found out that it wasn't something for me. So I end up not staying for too long, maybe like 5 months, quitting, and then end up working at my current job now, which is robotics. That I've been for 2 years now. Yeah.
So that's where you're at with like work and the route for school. Totally understand that.
hmm I actually am in school right now. My company provides learning. Um, they're called Lincoln Learning, and some of these classes actually give you a like clarification that you pass this class and you have knowledge of it, and you can use that towards like work. So right now, I'm in class for coding, so I learned like Python, C++, JavaScript, and like while working, of course.
Yeah,
So
it's pretty cool.
so I took the opportunity to try to advance my education.
Mhm. So from the jobs that you've worked, what's like the biggest takeaway, especially being in like the customer industry, customer service work? How would you summarize your experiences?
I don't think any job is a waste of time. Even working at McDonald's, you learn a lot of skill based things at any type of job. So just because you're somewhere that you don't want to be, I feel like you should try to learn anything and anything just to advance your career in life. Like without these restaurant jobs, I wouldn't know how to talk to these people, like at companies, or like taking up tasks like more responsibility, like running a store by yourself when like things happen, or improvising or being productive, like knowing that your actions will come back to you in a good way or bad way. And I think like learning all these like different type of customer service type of jobs, even though they're kind of like around the same like work area and stuff like that, I learned a lot of like communication and like how to handle things in different situations.
Nice.
Yeah.
Do you have any crazy or interesting stories, like interactions with customers?
I don't, but I know people do.
Huh.
No, I can't talk about that one. It's kind of fucked, but
Yeah, your
crazy people.
stories.
Yeah, I know. Uh oh, I seen someone at Fry's that like walked out with like 10K full of carts. Like they just walked out. Nothing happened. I mean, we did call the police and everything. Security did try chasing them down, but there's a lot of policy behind it.
Mhm.
So this dude just kind of like had like a cart, and there was like Xbox. I think it was like Xbox 360 at the time, and like PS3s, and they're like around like 400 each. He had like he had like three Xbox and then three PS3s and a bunch of games and some other like miscellaneous things. And he was just like walking towards the door, and I was watching him because I was like in the middle of like the cashier area,
Yeah.
and I was just looking at it, and I was like kind of suspicious because they still had the like the security badges or the security tags,
Ooh, okay.
and he was like minding his own business, just walking, and all of a sudden you just see this man sprint like outside the door. He broke he broke the slide door like he didn't even wait for it to open completely. So when he pushed the cart out, he actually hit the door and the door actually broke. And he just like he unloaded it so fast, like and then he just got away. And I just looked at security and then they just asked me questions like, "Oh, what happened? What did you see?" And I was just like, "I just saw a customer walking around with items. That's it."
You
And
clicked it. Yeah.
yeah. And then he actually got caught. It was kind of crazy because my friend told me about this, but he got caught at a Target down the street doing the same thing.
What the?
Yeah. Man, this man's
Jeez.
about to be rich. Yeah.
Mhm. All right. So that's like some work stuff and an overview of what went down, but there will be more to ask. At this point, do you want? We're gonna take a quick break. If you need to use the restroom or get like snacks or something, feel free to do so.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for tuning into the podcast, episode 74. What's up, everybody? What's up, RJ, Tommy, Simon, Vinny, Will, Mel, Dreams, everybody in chat? I'm gonna refill water. I'll be right back, and then we're gonna continue with some interests and other things. Alright, we're gonna talk about some of your interests before we get into more detailed stuff. When it comes to animes, TV shows, or movies, whatever you like and watch, give us a top 5 for each category.
Okay.
Yeah. You want to start with anime?
Yeah. Hmm.
Alright, curious to see this list.
Ah, I see. Alright, Planet.
Oh.
Kuroko. Twin Exorcists. Inuyasha. And Fairy Tail.
Oh, dang. Okay. It's the top 5. Would you say Hunter x Hunter or One Piece are considered?
Oh no, I do love them. It's just
Yeah.
more like if
But
I were
you're-
to watch it again,
Mhm.
yeah, I wouldn't want to watch like 1,000 something episode of One Piece again.
Yeah. Nice. Okay. Who's your favorite character from Kuroko?
I'll say Kuroko. Dude is a beast,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Yeah. Or anime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
TV shows, top 5.
Top 5 TV shows. I like The Walking Dead, Grey's Anatomy, Glee, Supernatural, and Prison Break.
Wow, what a top 5. I did not know that you watch Grey's Anatomy.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a lot. A lot of seasons, right?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez, okay. Are you caught up with The Walking Dead?
Uh, I don't think so. I
Okay,
don't think.
okay.
Yeah, I don't think so. Are you?
No, me neither.
Oh damn.
Just
Wait.
wondering, just wondering.
Oh, have you been caught up with TV shows?
No, not at all.
Oh shit. Oh shit.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just gotta like quit streaming first, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, top 5 TV shows. I mean, movies,
Cool.
sorry, movies.
Movies. Oh god. If you guys didn't know, I'm a very big Tim Burton fan. So Caroline, Frankie Weenie, Nightmare Before Christmas. I'm also a really big horror fan. So I would say like The Grudge.
What the? Okay.
I know, dude, it's weird. I love scary movies. What else is there? There's one more. I'll say like a kind of recent one, I guess, like 2018, 16. Knives Out. I thought that movie was pretty good.
Which one's that? Is that the mystery one?
Yeah, it's a Chris Evans one.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So that's the top 5. Do you have a favorite song right now?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I do. Um, Forbidden Colors.
Who's that by?
I don't think there's like different variation, but there's a breakdancing version that I always love listening to.
So it's called Forbidden Colors.
Yeah. It doesn't have like any lyrics.
Okay, okay. So it's like a beat.
Yeah.
How about, do you have a current favorite artist?
Artists?
Yeah.
Probably Katy Perry.
Wait, why is that?
Yeah,
Interesting.
well, I always love her songs, dude. Like from Peacock, Hot and Cold, Move with the Rhythm.
All right. Favorite food?
Favorite food, Thai food,
Which dish?
curry. I like the yellow and red.
Thai curry, okay. All right. What is your go-to boba drink?
This one's hard because different places I usually just get like one or two.
Mm-hmm.
Like Happy
How-
Lemon, I get the black tea with sea salt,
Mhm.
caramel. Or I go Tasty and I get the matcha tea, matcha milk tea, or the strawberry milk tea. 7 Leaves, I get the mung bean or oolong. What else is there that's popular? N7, just like the matcha frap. Yeah,
So
no,
a
it's
lot.
like
Based
yeah,
on
it sells
the
a lot.
store.
Yeah, based on the store. It's like really based on the store.
Okay, how about give us the top 5 then? Like top 5 boba chains or stores.
Okay. Actually, I really like Tenrin, like their fruit teas. So like their
Okay.
light peach. And then I like their oolong from 7 Leaves.
Okay,
Tasty,
Tannerin,
they're-
7 Leaves, Tasty.
Yeah. Tasty is their matcha milk tea. And Soyful is, their fuck, what was it called? It's just like the egg
The
pudding.
creamy.
Yeah, creamy.
Creamy milk tea, yeah.
Actually, okay, if I were to pick one of everything, it's gonna be like Boba Guys, strawberry milk, strawberry matcha.
Boba guys.
Yeah.
Okay, got a gist of your top 5 for boba.
Mhm.
Alright, you mentioned that you collect Pokemon cards.
Yes, sir.
What's your if you could have a team of 6, what Pokemon would it be?
Oh shit, dude.
On the spot.
Yeah. Froggator. Hold on.
Yeah, look at your binder for this.
Yeah, there's a reason why I collect cards that I like, dude.
Can you show us your favorite page too if you get to it?
Oh yeah. Alright, Dragonite. Lugia. Card.
Not the binder.
Yeah, I had to pull it out. There's a page I collect that's like. Oh, Gengar.
Yes, can't
How
forget.
many I said? That's
Gengar.
3. Yeah, that's 3.
4. You said for Alligator, Dragonite, Lugia, Gengar.
Oh yeah.
Those are all from the
Oh.
first 2 generations.
Yeah. I like the older generations, that's why.
Got it.
Yeah. I'm really big fan of older stuff, so. Oh no, titty cards. Oh! Slowpoke.
Slowpoke. Alright,
Yeah.
and the last one.
I'll say Typhlosion.
Okay.
And this is my favorite.
The favorite page. Oh, the Slowpokes stuff?
Yeah, it's a bunch of fucking Slowpokes.
Slowbro, Slowkings. Nice.
Yeah.
Alright. Favorite game of all time?
Conquer the Bad Fur Day.
On which
Nintendo 64.
Okay. Dang. Huge throwback. Do you have a favorite Yu-Gi-Oh card?
Oh
you
yeah,
also played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I do. It's actually it's either between Stardust Ghost Rare or Trishula.
Okay, so Synchros, gotcha. Alright, we're gonna talk about some of your social life right here.
Okay.
Alright, talk about the very first time when you had your first alcoholic drink. What was that like?
Oh man, I remember this day vividly. So it was when I was hanging out with two of my closest friends that I consider very close. And one day we were talking about like, why don't we try drinking? And we're like, yeah, fuck it, let's do it at my house. And a week later, when the weekend came around, we actually went to a liquor store, waited outside, and had someone buy our alcohol. And this dude, like, legitly just said, yeah, sure, why not? So we bought 4 locals, we bought some Corona, beer, and I think that's it. We went back to my house, and all 3 of us just drank in my garage, locked the door, everything. And we were just drinking. And we're like, this sucks. This tastes like shit. But we're like, fuck it, let's see what happens if we drink more. And we end up drinking more, and then for some reason we went to Denny's.
Wait, what was it?
Went to Denny's.
Oh no, like the drink.
4 Loco.
4 Loco.
It was like 4 Loco and Corona, and I think Heineken. I think we had like a couple beers. And First thing I did when I got to Denny's was I threw up outside the door. Like I opened the door and I started yakking,
You
and
threw
it
up on your
was
first experience. Damn.
yeah, it was so bad. And I remember I went to the restroom and I threw up in there too, and I felt so bad. So we ended up like eating dinner, and then I came home, and my friend went home, and my mom, like I was sleeping in the living room at the time, and I went straight into my room, and she knew I was drunk, and then she was pissed. She was like, "When you wake up, you're gonna be in big trouble." I was like, "Fuck! I hope I don't wake up."
Oh no.
And dude, it was oh, it was so gross. Like I can vividly remember throwing up outside of Danny's, like right when I opened the door, and I just started
Wait, so how old were you?
17.
17? Okay.
Yeah, I was 17, and it was so fucking bad. Like I remember throwing up so much. It was
So,
so gross.
with that
Yeah.
being said, what's your favorite drink or go-to drink and your least favorite or worst?
Oh, dude, I would say like cheap stuff makes me sick, but my favorite drink would be like a passion fruit mojito.
You know,
Yeah. I remember
and
my first time having one too. It was at Dave and Buster's.
D&B's.
Yeah, D&B's.
What kind of drunk would you say you are?
The sleepy, the sleepy drunk. I always try to find like anywhere comfortable. It could be like a bathroom floor to like a corner of like a house or a room, and just like knock the fuck out every time I get too drunk. I wouldn't say I'm loud. I would say I'm a lot more quieter too, in the beginning, and then that's when I get sleepy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's drinking. Okay, how about for partying? What type of person are you when it comes to parties?
Oh, dude, I love playing BP. I love playing BP. Like when it comes to parties, I always try to look for like a BP table or something. If it's not that, then it's more like just socializing or like eating. Not really into partying as much anymore though. But before, yeah, that's what I've done.
So what's your wildest party experience have you been a part of?
Um, by y- wait, can you repeat the question?
Like wildest party experiences
Oh, I
maybe
got
that you've
smacked.
seen?
Oh yeah, I was a part of it. I mean, I wouldn't say seen. Well, if I were to see something, I seen someone jump off like a second story, landing on a table.
Jeez, what the hell?
I know. It was like a balcony. It's like one of those backyard balcony, and then they just jumped and landed on the one of those white picnic tables. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And then the one that I experienced myself was I actually got smacked in the face. Um, so how it went was I went to a friend's birthday,
Mhm.
and there was this girl that was like passed out in the bathroom, and I had to pee like really bad. So what I did was I carried her and I put her on the couch, and I went to pee, and I came back and I gave that girl water before I left, and her friend came up to me, hella drunk, because you could tell by like she was slurring her words and like the way she was talking and everything, and she was like, "Oh my god, you're taking advantage of my friend," and I was like, "Huh?" And like it was weird because like where I brought her was like the place where like the most people would be, which was the living room,
Mhm.
and like I was so confused. And then she was like, "Yeah, you were trying to take advantage of my friend. Like you were in the bathroom with her." And then she smacked me, and I just left. And then the next day she called me. We're friends. It's kind of funny. We're friends nowadays. We're friends now.
Okay.
But there's one thing that I really hate, and it's when people hit me or like touch my face from pinching or just touching or like slapping.
Yeah.
It's like a really big trigger for me. And she smacked me, and I was so pissed that I told my friend I was just gonna go home. Like I didn't want to deal with her.
Hmm.
And so she ended up calling me the next day. She got my number from my friend because my friend yelled at her. And the thing that really pissed me off was her ideal of guys because she dated really bad guys or she like knows really bad guys. So like anything. So I explained to her, I was like, if I want to take advantage of her friend at the time and place, I wouldn't bring her to a place where everyone is. And the fact that they left her in the bathroom by herself was kind of bad. And she apologized. She wanted to hang out to make it up to me. I said no, and then she kept like trying to pursue to make things right. And I finally told her, okay, sure. So we went to go eat, talked, and then it was a very mixed, big misunderstanding, especially for her. And like honestly, to this day, I kind of bring it up sometimes, and I think it's funny.
Mm.
Like it's so funny. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
you never really smacked me.
Before being friends.
Yeah.
Jeez. All right, so that's partying. Are you into clubbing or raving?
No. No. I just don't like being around. Uh, I mean, I don't mind being around like big groups. It's just more like when I'm around people that are kind of stupid, it irritates me. Like either they're like on drugs or they're super drunk. Because I have been to raves, right? Like
Yeah.
I've been to a couple of raves with you, of course. And like the biggest thing that happens a lot is when people kind of grab me from the side. Like they just come behind me, just kind of grab you. Which makes zero sense to me because I'm dancing with someone and all of a sudden you just feel someone's hand on your waist. And you're like, what the fuck? And it happened multiple times. We went from fucking Zed to Linium to Oral Grind to like all this shit. And I was like, dude, back the fuck up. And then like people smell playing because you know how I used to like play like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh or like Vanguard or any card games,
Yeah.
TCG wise.
The body odor.
Yeah, the body odor like bothers me. Like these guys don't shower. Like it's so bad to the point where in 2019 at tournaments now, like regionals or nationals or anything like that, if they smell, if they smell entering,
Yeah.
they are not allowed in.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it's a rule. Yeah, but these guys like smell. And then like at raves and clubs, people are sweating, touching each other and stuff like that. I'm
Mm.
not germaphobe or anything. It just sometimes it's it, it's not pleasant just
Yeah,
being around those people.
for sure.
Yeah.
So if you were to choose one, would you pick clubbing or
I'll,
raving?
I'll pick raving because not everyone's on drugs or drunk. There's people that just like to mellow out and chill, like Vinny.
Okay. Yeah, did you or do you have a favorite like event that you've been to or been a part of?
Honestly, my favorite events were like the times that our friend group goes, and it's just our friend group.
Mhm.
Like no one's splitting off or anything like that.
All together, got it.
Oh, were you there? Were you there for when Mark lost his boxers?
I've heard of it, but I don't recall.
Oh, dude, that was like
I
one of
heard.
my
I remember the
favorite.
story though.
Yeah, that thing is funny. Dude,
Made
that was
no
so
sense.
fucking funny. No, that was so fucking funny though. Like when he looked at me,
Well, wait,
he
what's the
goes,
story of that?
"Alright, so it was a venture club, I believe. Yeah, a venture club, and so one of my friends got too turned, and he was super drunk, and we had like people taking turns taking care of him. And towards the end of the night, I ended up taking care of him, and it was another friend of mine, and it was funny because when he came back, he told me what happened was that he ran, sprinted to the restroom, came back, met up with us, and it was like the last song, and he goes, "Oh, guys, I lost my boxers," and he's like proceeding to like lift his pants down to show us, and we're like, "No, no, no." So we grabbed him and we like stopped him from doing what he was doing. He goes, "Who took my boxers?" He started yelling around, and he looked at the girl next to him. He goes, "Hey, you're kind of cute." And we just walked, we just carried him off and just went outside. And then
Jesus.
yeah, then we went to go eat pho, and it seemed like he got to rest a little bit. So when he came to his senses, he goes, "Hey, where's my boxers?" And we're like, "What the fuck? You don't remember any of these things?" And it was just so funny, like the whole interaction.
Damn, that actually
Yeah,
happened. Crazy.
no.
Do you have any events lined up, or do you plan on going to any more in the future?
People want me to go countdown, quite a few, but I cannot just due to work.
Yeah.
But I am really, really considering of taking their second invitation to go to EDC.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, but you know how I am. Not really big into those things, so.
Yeah,
But
for
I would
sure.
like to experience it at least once, you know.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So EDC might be a very big possibility.
All right, switching gears. Talk about some of the travels and adventures you've been on, and also talk about where you'd like to go.
Um, I do want to see more friends outside of like California area, so probably Canada is where I want to go, or New York. That's in the U.S., but outside of like the U.S. and everything, I would probably want to go. Oh, not Canada, sorry. Yes, I want to go Canada. I want to go New York, Japan, Korea.
Mhm.
I have some friends over there, either from the military or people I met before. Um, but I think Canada is on my list for sure. Like next place I'm planning to go to.
Which side?
Um, either from where like Smiling or like um, do you remember Avi Sushi?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, probably their side. I think they're like Vancouver.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah. So
Opposite side. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So probably Toronto or Vancouver, like the most common places. Um, I think I think the biggest thing why I want to travel now is like to try food and to meet or like see people at IRL,
Yeah.
like good friends.
Mm-hmm.
Where have I traveled? I haven't really been to a lot of places. I've been to like Colorado, Seattle, where else? Texas, Arizona, and majority of me a couple of like California areas.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Okay. So as of now, what are your future goals?
Uh, future goals, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. I accomplished. I feel like I accomplished a lot for what I wanted to do. Um, you know, kind of forced my mom into like not working anymore since she's been doing so much for us. Um, as a single mom, so we got her to do that. We got her a car. For future goals, I probably want to do more with streaming, like kind of nerdy and shit. But like, I want to do like more stuff with like Pokemon and stuff like that. Like have card openings, giveaways. You know,
Yeah.
small things. I don't know. I just seem like it's fun. I feel like there's a lot of people that are like into like Pokemon stuff like that, but since it's so hard to get their hands on it or like anything like that, I want to do giveaways. I want them to like enjoy their hobbies.
Yeah.
If
True.
money's
True.
an issue, then like we can try to find a way. Stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Hey, do you have any piercings and tattoos to talk about?
Yeah. So and Actually, funny story. Actually, I actually did have a lip piercing in 8th grade, and it only lasted for like a month, just because a teacher snitched on me, and she got me in trouble, so I had to take it off. I have earrings for about a year now, but I did have earrings in middle school, and when I got to high school, that's when I had to take them off, and they closed. So, but I do have earrings now, too. No tattoos.
When it comes to tattoos, though, do you plan on getting some in the future?
So that's the biggest thing too. Is like since my siblings kind of look up to me from what they say,
Yeah.
it's kind of hard if I were to get a tattoo, then they would want one, and my mom is very against it. So I'm not trying to stress her out with it.
See.
So as long as I don't have tattoos, they're not allowed to have tattoos.
Mhm. All right. Talk about the history with vaping.
It's actually funny because I never ever tried smoking weed or vaping.
Mhm.
Like, I never tried drugs, smoking weed, or cigarettes. The reason why I got into vaping was because there was a shop down the street from me that were like building coils, and I actually got into it. I got into building coils and then end up trying it, and I ended up liking it, and then it became a very bad addiction. I actually believe it's an addiction, but I feel like it has gotten better over the years where I try to limit myself to not buy as much. I don't think it's too bad. I think it's still bad, but yeah, it's pretty bad.
For sure. No worries. No worries. No judgment. All right. So we're gonna get into more of the deeper stuff now, talking about relationships. So whenever
Oh,
we go over this, it's whatever you want to start with, like usually in chronological order. So the very first, whatever you consider as a relationship, crush, and it's up to you to get into whatever details.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then yeah, just go from there up until the end.
Okay. First relationship I ever got into was in 7th grade, and honestly, like in 7th grade, that's when I lost my first kiss. You know, the funny thing, I didn't even initiate anything. It was her, and I was scared. Like she took the initiative and everything, so it was very interesting, I guess. Um, After that, I did. It was like a on and off a relationship with different people through middle school, but I wouldn't consider any of them like relationship. There was like just more like, oh, I like you, you like me. We talk on the phone. It didn't work out. End of story.
Yeah.
Until actually freshman year of high school, that's when I actually consider like my first relationship, because I was with this person for almost 2 years since high school, and it was just very toxic because we were like very childish and we really didn't know what we wanted, and it was just more of a thing where we didn't want to break up or we didn't want to like separate just because how much time we invested in each other, and it felt very weird to not have each other in. But at some point one of us were bound to break, and it ended up being me, just because I felt I was very controlling, like who I can hang out with, who I can't hang out with, who can I talk to, who can I talk to, and like how much she thought, how much power she had on me was very annoying too. Like she always thought like I was never gonna leave her, or like, you know, like she's the best thing that ever came into my life, and it became very toxic. She wasn't a bad person. Let me be clear.
Mhm.
Thank you, Tiger. It was just more like we weren't a good match, and we did try to become friends after, but a lot of things happened that I can't think of. But we end up just not being friends, and I haven't seen this person for years. And then my second relationship, and I went back to being like after 2 years, so I'm in junior year. It was very on and off again, like just dating, kind of like testing waters and seeing like how I am with certain people until high school. I mean, senior year of high school. I actually fell in love with my best friend. She liked me, but since she was friends with my ex girlfriend for 2 years, she didn't want to ruin that too. So we ended up trying dating a little bit, but like I guess my ex got into her head and she ended up like steering away from being in a relationship with me. And it was really hard because I really did like her and I did see myself with her for a very long time. Because when I do date people, I kind of think of like I'm not just there to date. I'm just like there for the long run too. So I really had to see myself with that person for a very long time, not just for a very short
Hmm.
time. And it is a little too much sometimes, but like I never been in a one night stand. I have been in a position of a one night stand, but I never did anything, just because I feel very uncomfortable with it. And I think it's weird. Like I I try to put myself in a thought process where if I were to do it, how would I act afterwards? You know, like, oh, thanks for the sex, I guess. So now what? Do we get breakfast? I call you later. I'm a very awkward person when it comes to things that I'm not experienced with. So I told myself that I would steer away from that type of relationship. So there was a lot of on and off relationship where like it would be like either just like the most we'll do is like kiss or hold hands, and that's it. Also, like, so after my best friend and the whole heartbreak, I actually went through therapy because it really broke me how much what people were saying to me were like affecting me. It was really hard, and I wanted to be the best of myself during the end of my high school years. So I wasn't really fond of the idea of being in therapy because I thought it was very embarrassing at the time. But I realized how much it does help me to kind of like recollect myself and have a better understanding of different situation from a different perspective. And the reason why it hurt me so much was because this person I have always loved or cared about, and the reason why we never got together in the first place was because I was so scared of losing our friendship. So I'd rather keep her in my life than lose it for like something that we wanted to attempt. So so I made that hard decision of just trying to keep her in my life no matter what. Until senior year, I just said fuck it. I can't keep lying to myself. I want to be with this person, and then we tried it, and it was already too late. But yeah, it really hurt. And the next relationship that I would consider would be like Belina. It was after high school. She was someone I met through friends of friends, and we were together for about 6 months, 7 months, and we broke up. I would consider that as a relationship just because we went out a lot, hanged out, talked. Um, but the reason why we broke up was because apparently her parents didn't think I was good enough for her, so she kind of just went with it, and that's how it ended. They thought I was a nice guy and everything. He's just more like they wanted her. They think like very highly of her, so it went to shit. and went back to dating a little bit until I met my longest relationship, which was 3 years and a couple months. And funny enough, this relationship, I mean, the breakup for this one wasn't even bad whatsoever.
How'd you meet her?
It We met at a party, friends of a friend, and we ended up hanging out, talking, learning about each other, and then after a week or so, we end up like dating. And then after 2 months, I end up asking her to be my girlfriend. And ever since then, we were together for 3 years. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think she like really like mentally fucked me in the head. I didn't really see like any toxic trait until like towards the end or anything like that, just because I was madly, deeply like in love with this person and I really care for her. And I invested so much time in my life into her. So I was like, there's a lot of things that was tying me down from like looking at the bad side of things. And it felt very weird where like when we did break up, all that 3 years were gone. And then that person that used to be by your side every single day was gone. And then I was just trying to adjust my life. I wouldn't say the relationship was totally bad. She got me out of my comfort zone. She took me out to places where I didn't want to go, like raves. Reason why I went to a bunch of raves was because of her. Um, Trying new food, going to different places. Um, we had a lot of good memories too. I wouldn't say she's a bad person at all. It just ended really badly to the point where like I would not want to be friends with her just because how she ended everything. Um, so how it ended was it was a time where she got me back going back to school because she was worried about my career in life, and this is where we're talking about like being too comfortable making like a certain amount and not doing anything with your life, so you kind of just stay in your comfort zone. And I was comfortable with the amount of money I was making, but it didn't look good future wise. Like if I were to get like a company job or like a career, because it can only take you so far, right, without experience. And so that's why I went back to school. I tried to get my degree, and then I was really tired because I was working, having a relationship, caring for my family, and doing some other stuff. And there was like not a lot of time in the world to kind of fit everything. So we end up breaking up because she she had a lot of feelings built up, and it just exploded one day. She she thought I was too nice, so I was kind of creeping her out. Where like she has access to my phone, to my Facebook, to all my socials, to all my emails, and I don't delete anything. So I do talk to other people, but not in a like sexual manner, or like in a relationship. Um,
Mhm.
she has access to all of it, and she still didn't trust me. And then it was really hard because like I thought by giving her that kind of access in my life, she would trust me more, but it made it worse where she would overthink, or like she would accuse me of things and I would have to reassure her, and it was just very tiring. Sometimes she would talk me down when we're out in public with friends. She was very young. We were like about 5 years age gap, so it was very different. And um it felt like it was very like a lot of things, but the most standing out was like I invested so much time into her, like where my days was like almost with her the whole day, but it felt like it wasn't enough for her. So I guess we were like kind of we're both looking for different things in a relationship, and It just took 3 years for us to kind of realize, and we ended up breaking up. She called me out. She yelled at me. She said things that I feel like she didn't mean, but later on, she kind of talked shit about me on different social media, and I ignored it. I didn't retaliate. I texted her. I tried to calm her down. I tried to talk to her about it, and then she wanted the thing I think is so stupid is the fact that she wanted me to pay her back for things she got me when we were together. And I thought, yeah, no, this is stupid. I don't want to deal with it anymore. So we end up not talking to each other. And ever since then, like I haven't really seen her too much. I haven't interacted with her. I ran into her at a wedding, but it was just because we had a mutual friend that was getting married. And that was the last time I saw her. Um, Besides that, the breakup wasn't too bad. I got over it maybe like less than a month. I thought about it really deeply and I realized how toxic it was. So it gave me a lot of time to think. I was sad, but I wasn't too sad, if that makes sense. And then I actually had a friend, a best friend in Colorado. This is a different person from the other person. And her name was Karen. And we've been friends for like 7 years. And we end up talking more, getting to know each other more on a personal basis and everything. And we end up having feelings for each other. So we started dating, and it was a long distance relationship for 7 months. And I felt like that 7 months meant more to me than my 3 year relationship. And she thought she could have done long distance, but in reality she couldn't. And then that's what caused us to break up. And it's understandable. It's because like sometimes people need like physical support, physical emotion support, right? I couldn't be there all the time when she needed me just because of like the distance. And
Mhm.
when we broke up, it really tore me, and then that's when I started getting my life together. I didn't date for like about 2.5 years or so. Like I didn't pursue like trying to find someone to go out with or like anything or get to know like a person on a personal basis. Like I met friends and I talked to friends, but besides that, I wasn't looking for a relationship, so I just stayed single for a while. Just went on from there, and we, I personally just didn't want to date anyone to this day. Try to find myself, trying to enhance my careers, like try to do more things with my life rather than just playing video games and just working at a dead end job. Try to make myself better.
Yeah,
But the only thing that makes me sad about that is just like the time that I don't have for my friends anymore. Or like I have hardly any time for my friends. Unless it matches well with their schedule.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, those are the relationships. Hmm. What did you what would you say you learned, or what's like the biggest takeaway from like the heartbreaks?
When you're in a relationship, don't pour like all your eggs in one basket. Like I neglected my friends a lot when I was in a relationship, and I lost a lot of good people because of that. So don't like just because you guys are like together or anything like that doesn't mean like you should forget the people that's been there for you for so long. And then have boundaries, communication is very important. Don't get into a relationship because you're lonely, for sure. It's one thing I would like to say to everyone. Just because you feel like horny or fucking like lonely doesn't mean that you need to be in a relationship. Just be with someone that you really want to be with, and try from both sides to not fuck each other up. Because a relationship should be like two people that wants to be together for a very long time rather than just a short term.
Awesome. Did you have any more like advice specifically for relationships based on your own experiences, or is that good?
Yeah. Actually, I have a couple.
Yeah.
Self love. Before anything, always remember that you need self love before you become get into a relationship because you start to be very dependent on someone, and then it's like a rinse and repeat kind of thing afterwards. If you guys were to break up and you were to find someone else, because you're just so invested and you're just so dependent on their, you're so dependent on them making you happy. Where you should know that, like at the end of the day, that it's only you that makes how you feel. Like you want to get up, do something with your life, you know, like it's nice to have someone, of course, but just know that like you take care of yourself before anything. Don't put yourself in this really bad mindset. And the next thing is stop getting stop trying to get into a relationship because you're lonely. 100%. It's fucking annoying. Just because like I'm gonna be real true with you guys, like anyone I talked to before. If you guys keep pursuing like a relationship just because you're lonely, it's kind of cringe. Like I get it, you want the experience or you want like a taste of it, but honestly, a relationship is like a lot more than it should be. Just just do your own thing. Someone will come along, and that person most likely is gonna stay with you. Stop trying to go like increase your fucking rice purity score or something. It's really cringe. Like I'm just so tired of seeing everyone like my friends or strangers, like people I barely know, like get hurt because of these things. It's like try to know what you want before you get in a relationship. That's it.
Thank you for the advice. How about for red flags? What are some red flags that you've noticed or are just red flags in general for you when it comes to relationships?
Yes, Tiger. Don't be horny monkeys. Horn dogs. Red flags. I noticed
Yeah.
when you're in a when you got out of a bad relationship and you know it, or like when you know the other person just got out of a bad relationship, try to not take advantage of them when they're weak. It's very sad. Or you know, support your friends. Like I've seen a lot of really bad people nowadays just because like how they interact with different people. And I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'm not saying this to everyone, but there's people out there that just lurks in girl streams because they're pretty and then neglects their friends. To me, it makes sense. I don't know if it's to other people, but like I've seen some people in just girl streams and like the way they talk is very cringe. Like it's and it's Twitch. Like of course like sorry my dog just walked in.
You're
Scared
good,
the
you're
shit
good.
out of me. Just how can I say this?
For red
For red
flags.
flags, yeah. No, I meant like I'm trying to phase it to the point where it makes sense. I think desperation for attention is a big red flag.
Yeah.
I think another big red flag is like obviously like trying to pursue. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought. I just got really like frustrated just now.
Thinking of the red flags.
Yeah, no, I just got a little frustrated. Red flags are just like sometimes words. I would like to see like more action taken than words, if that
Hmm.
makes sense.
Got it.
Like
I'll
people
talk,
can
yeah.
talk big, yeah, I'll talk, but no, nothing.
Hmm.
Also, some are really big red flags. I think that's it. Honestly, I try to see the good in people.
Yeah,
So
not a bad thing.
yeah.
Okay, so that is relationships as a whole. Do you
Mhm.
think there's anything else you wanted to mention about relationships, or are you good?
No, no, I don't think so.
Okay, so another thing I'd like to talk about is generally mental health. So as of now, how do you feel like you're doing right now mentally?
I'm actually quite happy. Um, mày đóng cửa, có đang làm gì rồi? Ờ, kêu ông kia, ông kia. Mentally,
Yeah, how are you doing mentally?
um, mentally, I'm fine. I wouldn't say I'm like 100% good.
Yeah.
There's um there's like certain things that like bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like seeing my friends like not getting along or like there's so much drama. It shouldn't bother me too much, but like I just kind of do want to see the best in people. But there's certain things that here and there that like I see it myself and I know it's true, but I kind of lie to myself saying that it's okay. Um, but mentally, I'm happy with all the people I've met, got close to Mel, Will, Dennis, Emmy, Richard, Kev, Kibble, like all these people I met, Kavion. There's a lot of people,
Yeah.
RJ, stuff like that. I got to meet in real life and talk to them, got to know them as a person, not a streamer. And let me tell you, they're like, everyone is so different from when they stream and stuff like that. It's so weird.
We'll talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
That's
yeah.
mental health though, but whenever you do feel like you're at your lowest, how do you pick yourself back up?
Mm, at my lowest, honestly, like when I feel at my lowest, I just feel like I tend to just kind of steer away from social media and just kind of give myself some time for that self love I was talking about, and just kind of doing things like going to places that I wanted to eat during the week, or like watch like something I wanted to watch, or like kind of distract myself in a way where like do something I want to do during the whole week,
Mm-hmm.
or like talk to like my close friends or people that I think that can understand me,
Yeah.
stuff like that. Or even like hit up a friend I haven't talked to in a while and catch up with them. That makes me happy. What else? Family, especially. Like I rely on my family a lot for my like my mood. If I'm feeling down or I'm really happy, I would always let them know, or like kind of let them know that like I'm feeling a certain way, but I don't really want to say it. But I would like to know how other people like pick themselves up too, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm not afraid to like kind of share my feelings if they ask. Like some
Mm-hmm.
people have noticed I've been out of it sometimes, so they tend to ask. And I'm not against saying like no. I'm very open. I'm willing to help anyone, but just know that like future wise, if you do tend to talk to me about any problems, I'm not there to tell you what you want to hear. I'm more like there to tell you what you need to hear.
Yeah. That's
And
cool. Mm-hmm.
besides that, it's just yeah, I rely on my family a lot for emotional support.
All right. So, how did COVID affect your life personally?
I think it drained the shit out of my social battery. Like, I mean, I wasn't affected too much. I just thought like it was rough because I actually lost my job prior a few months before the whole lockdown and everything.
Yeah.
So money was a very big issue, and I was very stressing about it. But I don't. I kind of use that time to kind of reflect and realize like I wasn't really doing much with my time, and I use that time to kind of try to find myself and kind of figure out what I wanted to do. And it was kind of scary because like I had my mom and she was very like and, like I wouldn't say she's too old, but she was old enough for like COVID to affect her if I were to get it.
Yeah, more vulnerable compared to you.
Yeah. So I took it very seriously. I made sure like like after like buying food or something, I would like wash my hand. I would shower. If I were to go out or anything like that, I would shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just making sure everything's okay.
Okay.
COVID,
What else did COVID do for you or to you?
I felt like it gave me a long vacation day or vacation months. Just staying at home. Not really much. I don't think it affected me that much, to be honest.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, before we go into social media stuff, do you plan on dyeing your hair again?
Oh yeah, yeah. Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
What was
Yes,
the
I do.
decision behind you dyeing your hair?
Um, in middle school, I actually did like had stripes. It was like it wasn't like sprayed on stripes. It was more like the dyed stripes, where it was like a shampoo, and you just apply it to your tips, and then it would change the color of it. Um, I never ever dyed my whole head with bleach until when I dyed my hair now.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to try something new. It's like the same thing with the piercings. Like when I got them, it was like a spontaneous kind of thing. So I wanted to do it, and I just did it. Um, I thought honestly, like a different change here and there is not a bad idea to like spice up your life, I guess.
So what color did you go for, and what's next?
Silver, and then it went blonde, and then next is probably gonna be rose gold because I lost a bet with someone. So
Oh shoot. Okay.
yeah,
A bet? What
yeah.
bet is this to dye your hair?
Oh, it was a silly one. That's it. I just made a bet with them that like um he there was this girl that he was interested in, and I just wanted to see him kind of take initiative,
Yeah.
and they're together now for like almost like a year, like 6 7 months now,
Hmm.
and I lost. So he took the initiative. Now they're dating. They're very happy together. Uh, and it was just like a push for him, I guess, in a way.
Wait, how did
And
you
plus,
lose the bet then? Does that mean you were betting that he wouldn't get with her?
that he wouldn't do it. Yeah,
Oh, that he wouldn't do it. Okay.
yeah, that he wouldn't like took the initiative to ask for her number, hang out, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
for
he did.
sure. Nice.
So now, I mean, I'm not against it. Honestly, it seems like a fun color to do.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Social media. Other than Twitch, what platforms are you currently using, or what socials?
For like everyday use, or
Yeah, just in general.
I use a lot of YouTube. I watch a lot of like Pokemon openings, mukbang. Um, I use a lot of TikTok just to see like people's creativities, and like TikTok is very addicting. So
But you don't
it's really
post.
I don't post. If I were to post anything, it's usually either reposting on Facebook of memes, sending people reels on TikTok, or I just got into Twitter. I'm trying to use it. It's just kind of
Nice.
hard. Yeah, like I told myself I wanted to use Twitter, but I feel like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I'm not addicted to it or anything, but yeah.
Okay. Twitter for sure. All right, we're gonna talk about Twitch, the big one right here.
Mhm.
Before we do you need a break or anything?
Nah, I
All
think we're
right,
good.
for sure, for sure. So Twitch, talk about what got you into Twitch. What made you actually start streaming and everything? Talk about that.
I think a lot of my decision making on doing things is like, what's the worst that can happen, right? From like getting ear pierced to my hair dye. So I think it falls under the same category of like, why not? I saw my friends doing it. They helped me with it. I got into it, and then yeah, I try to meet. I always love the idea of meeting people in different like aspect of like, it could be like IRL to like online. And I feel like I never had an issue with like talking to people. So I kind of try to use it to my strength. So when I first started out Twitch, I was very lost, and I had a lot of friends that were streaming at the time, and they were helping me on along the way. And there was a lot of days where I felt like it wasn't for me. Even to this day, I feel like Twitch is not for me, like streaming and everything. But then again, it's like more of my excuse of saying like I'm not trying, or like I don't want to try, or I'm too lazy, or like stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do enjoy talking to my like friends and meeting new people.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Um,
Well, that's the start though. What's your schedule looking like now, or what categories do you stream or games?
it's gonna be like, dude. Honestly, I think it's more Overwatch than Valorant. But those are the two main games that I would like to stream. I would like to do more just chatting, or like more like cards opening, I guess. But besides that, it's gonna be Overwatch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what about the schedule?
The scheduling, it's it's been very messy just lately, just because there's days where I do have to come in earlier than I usually do for work. So I try to stream on weekdays after I get off work, which is around 11:30
Mm-hmm.
to like maybe 3 or 4, even 2 if I'm like really tired. Because when I do stream, I just want to be like myself and just chill and relax. But if I'm too tired, I don't want them to just kind of sit there and just watch me being tired. Um, and it really does depend on my mental too, of course. Like I want to make sure like I'm in a good state of mind where like I don't yell or like say the wrong thing to someone because I feel like a certain way.
Yeah. Okay. So far in Twitch, do you have a favorite memory?
My birthday, my recent birthday, when everyone did the kudo board for me and showed so much love. Like it's you too, like you rating me, saying happy birthday. Um, my favorite memories are just like all these people I met on Twitch, and actually becoming more than just like online friends. Like I would consider like a lot of people closer to me on Twitch than IRL.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's so many amazing people out there, and like I would never known or knew of them if it wasn't for like through friends or like from Twitch. Yeah, like Steve and like Jazz, Simon.
For sure, for sure. So far you've been streaming for a while, so what would you say the pros and cons are?
Um, I think the con about streaming sometimes I feel like when it does feel like a chore sometimes. Sometimes, of course, just because like I feel like I owe some people like a stream, but then again, like I shouldn't be thinking like that. Um, Cons is just like there's a lot of people that I know that I don't mesh well together just because of personality,
Yeah.
and I don't ever like feeling awkward. So,
Hmm.
um, so I try to kind of avoid like deep talks or like more than it should be kind of conversation with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. For pros, like it's all the people you get to meet, play games with,
Mhm.
like I don't know, you just kind of do something that you're not used to, you know? Like for streaming, I don't ever feel like it's ever gonna feel normal to me that I'm playing games and people are watching me.
Yeah.
It's such a weird feeling, right?
Hmm.
So it's like that. Um, Also like just meeting like these strangers, like that I would never ever met if it wasn't because of like gaming or online.
Lot to
Yeah,
soak in. Yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
Um, I think one of the cons too is it could be very overwhelming. Like with maybe like you think you're like good with your mental and everything, and all of a sudden you just have a really bad breakdown, or like there's just so much to soak in and stuff like that.
Uh huh.
And there's like a lot of emotions that you can't understand at the time, and it just builds up, and you just feel drained the next day.
Speaking of that, so I usually ask about like the mentality when it comes to streaming. How do you feel like streaming could affect you mentally, like personally?
I don't know why, but it just sometimes it does feel exhausting. It feels like you're always being watched. Like every action you do or anything you do, someone's gonna remember it, or someone's gonna see it.
So that gets to you, or what?
I think sometimes it gets to me in a bad way where like your my thought, my dark thoughts comes out. You know what I mean? It's like, oh fuck, I did something weird. You know, someone's gonna remember it. And I
Yeah.
was like, I don't think people care enough to like keep that in their like the back of their head, shit like that.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay. And what would you say your motivation or inspirations are for streaming? Like, what keeps you going? Because I know you mentioned like you stick with your friends, you talk to them, but you also mentioned how you feel like streaming is not for you. Like, you could, if you could elaborate, that'd be cool.
Yeah, of course. I think streaming is not for me just because like as much as I love the interaction with Twitch and everything, it's as much as I hate to say it, it's like I'd rather just stay with the people I have now. Like I'm more content with the people I have now than like I feel like the more people I want in my life, it starts to become very messy. And I think my personality is like very simple. I want to live like a quiet, simple life.
Hmm.
You know, make decent money, hang out with friends, talk to friends, play games with friends. So the more I start to like know more and more people, the more things I hear, the more things I know, it starts to becoming too much as of right now. Just because I'm at a state in life where, you know, I'm trying to pursue my career. I'm trying to, you know, think about like having a family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Got
what
it.
motivates me, of course, like it's very contradicting, but I do love meeting new people and getting to know them personally,
Hmm.
not through Twitch, not through like their persona or like, you know, their Twitch character.
Like the shell. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to know more about like their life experience, their, you know, motivations, their happiness, sadness, stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I feel like I don't get that from Twitch. But I do meet the people that I want to get to know through Twitch, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So if
Yeah.
that's the case for you, what would you say your goals are when it comes to streaming?
My goals in streaming is just hang out with everyone that I care about and just kind of keep up with their daily lives because it really does matter to me like how they do feel. So I feel like Twitch is like one of the best ways for me to actually know how they're doing and everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair. Have you ever dealt with trolls or any hate? If so, how
Oh
did you
yeah.
deal with those?
I just laugh it off or just you know if they get too much, just ban them.
Mhm.
Like at the end of the day, they're not someone I care about. They're just there for like the moment. Um, I think I've been pretty good about this when it comes to like trolls or people that are like bagging on me and stuff like that. Um, just just walk away from it. Just ignore them because there is people out there that does care about you. There's a lot of people that cares about you, and you just let one person affect you just because I don't feel like I need the needs to please everyone. If they don't like me, they don't like me. That's it. I'm not here to please everyone in the world. I'm not here to have everyone like me. I'm not here to have everyone like be my friend. I'm just here to live my best life with the people I care about and the people that cares about me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
about that. For you personally, like I know you just stream for fun again to meet up with everyone. Does it ever like does having the numbers and view count ever affect you?
I would lie. I would be lying if I said yes in the beginning,
Hmm.
but nowadays I don't. It kind of shows like where I think someone asked me about this, or I said this before, but I'd rather have 5 viewers that are actively talking to me and trying to get to know me than 50 people that and just staying quiet. So I don't think numbers count for me anymore, just because I enjoy the company of the people that are there for me.
Sick. Okay. All right. With everything you know about Twitch, what advice would you give to those who are just trying to get started or are just trying to grow on the platform,
One advice?
or just general advice?
Oh yeah, be different. Don't please everyone. Just do what you want to do. Honestly, just like if you're here to make money, then then I can't say anything because I'm not here to make money. I'm here to find people that actually cares about me and like that I can bond with and get to know.
Any other advice?
Um, yeah, get out of your comfort zone.
What about that?
Just like be, take the initiative, meet new people, play with new people. Don't play with the same people just because you're comfortable. I feel
Yeah.
like if you want to grow, then just get out of your comfort zone
Hmm.
because there's a lot of good people out there that you never gave a chance to because you're not willing to.
Solid advice. What are your thoughts about the difference and discrepancies of streaming as a guy versus girl?
Ah, I was waiting for this. For that, I feel like it's true that I it kind of sucks to say, but I do feel like if you're a girl, you have a better chance of surviving, as in like kind of growing faster than guys. But I'm not saying like it's a total loss for guys, of course. I think. Wait, before I answer this, can you explain more about your question?
Just like the whole streaming experience if you're a guy versus a girl. Like your thoughts about it. What makes it different? In your opinion.
I just think there's like more horny guys than girls, to be honest. To be very straightforward, I just think like there's a lot of people that are down bad.
So what do you mean by
Kinda-
that?
It's like when people like crave attention and stuff like that, and when a guy doesn't get like attention, they feel like they never get, and like a girl streamer would give it, they were more likely to stick around from what I've seen. And then when a guy does it, it just seems kind of like it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I know this is because I actually have asked some people that I felt like that were just hanging around like girl streams. And I just wanted their thought process, and I was very respectful of it, of course. I just want to learn more. But I feel like and like the biggest thing about that is like I think is like either you're not good looking or you don't have like a fun or funny personality, you're likely not going to be able to grow as faster than others.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's guys versus girls. Was there any more, or is that it?
I'm trying to think. Um, but I'm not saying it's like a like I said, it's like it's a very like yeah, I think that's it actually. Now I think about it.
Yeah, I get the gist. Like in certain ways, you feel like girls could easily get the attention,
Hmm.
like starting out too, especially.
Yeah.
Hey, how'd you come up with your name?
Yeah. I wanted my name in something like in I didn't want my like full name at all, but I wanted something to do with my name. So I kind of like looked up like things that had like Hi, and I implemented my name into it. And the reason why I have a 3 in my name is because someone took the other Haich3w. So, and my name before this was Senpai High, and I thought it was super fucking cringe. And the reason why I had Senpai High in the first place was because a lot of people would, a lot of my friends would call me Senpai because I don't know why, but I was like,
why.
yeah, I just don't know. So I
Yeah.
just kind of stuck with it.
Uh,
So I like Haich3ws, like the banana flavor especially. So I was like, oh, this can work. I like candy. I like
Mm.
sweets. And then it had my name in it, and I was like, it's perfect. So I picked it.
there you go. Okay. How was
Thank you, Kevin.
how was your experience like meeting up with people on Twitch? Like talk about the meetups, thought process, and even going down to San Diego, for example.
I wouldn't say I had like the best time in San Diego, but I did had a list of who I really wanted to meet and see.
Yeah.
Um, it was very overwhelming for sure, and I feel like when I'll give you an example, like karaoke.
Uh huh.
I felt like I was just there, and because I didn't know a lot of people and people weren't willing to kind of open up and try to introduce themselves. I'm not saying everyone, but like there was some people,
Yeah. Okay.
and I thought it was kind of uncomfortable just being there. but there was certain people that were um, people that came up and said hi to me, introduced themselves, and then we became friends. And I see them on my Twitch, or I go to their Twitch sometimes.
Hmm.
And I just like people kind of had like their own little group already, so it was even worse. So I tried taking initiative and try saying hi to people, but I didn't want to do that the whole night, so I kind of just stuck around the people that like were there that actually talked to me and stuff like that and got to know me.
Yeah.
Besides that, yeah, it was just it was fun. It was fun. I'm glad that I didn't. Um, I'm okay with not having to met everyone,
Hmm.
but I was okay to kind of be there with the people that actually wanted me to be there. I was very happy.
Yeah, because you didn't go to TwitchCon itself, like the event, right?
No,
So what was your mindset of not wanting to go, but to go to San Diego instead?
it was actually just to see like the people that I talked to prior to TwitchCon.
Yeah.
Um, like I got to see Mango again. I seen her before TwitchCon. I got to see Emmy, Randy. I got to meet Randy actually for the first time. Um, Shigori. Who else was there? There was a lot of people in my house that I got to meet. I got closer to one and Ken. We set up. We I ended up buying him Jack in the Box and got him sick. He ended up like puking or something. That
Oh
was hella
no.
funny. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. He's
Okay.
okay now. But yeah, I got closer to him, which is nice. I got closer to Acer. Like, I I knew going in that I wasn't gonna see everyone and a lot, but it was more than I expected. So I kept my mind very open, and I knew that I was there to make memories with certain people, just because um, they were gonna be there at the same time.
Yeah.
And I thought it was gonna be nice to have like a mini vacation and do things I haven't done, like go out my way to meet people from different cities.
For sure. Wait, so how was your like the whole bonfire experience?
I wasn't there.
You weren't, huh? I was trying to think of
Yeah,
it and I couldn't remember you.
yeah, because I
Because you
left the
left
day before.
early. That's what happened. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's right. I was thinking of sleeping, right? And I was just like, wait a second. I don't recall you going back with him. Because
No, I
you
didn't.
you were supposed to, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Isaac,
Ooh.
I did want to take a picture with you. I just forgot. I'm sorry.
Got
Hold on.
it. Don't.
No, dude. Isaac, listen.
Oh man.
I messaged you personally saying, "Oh shit, we forgot to take a picture." Shut the fuck up.
Okay, but for the karaoke, okay, you were there. That should have been Thursday then, right?
Friday.
No, yeah, you're right. Right, Friday after the first day of TwitchCon, Friday, I think. So you said it was like overwhelming, right? So
Mhm.
what went down? Like you shut up
Mm,
with your group, right? That you housed with.
yeah, kinda. I went with actually Richard's brother. Yeah. When I got there, it was just very overwhelming because I didn't know who was who was part of our group or wasn't.
Standing
Like
with
I
like a
don't.
crap ton of people, and you're just like, are these guys on Twitch?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I was like, who are these people? And then like, sorry, I'm gonna call out Mel, but it was hella funny because there was a guy that was trying to back up, and we were like near the parking space, and Mel hugged him, but he wasn't part of our group. And you're like, why the fuck you not tell me he wasn't part of our group?
She's gonna go up to someone she's never seen before and just okay, never mind.
Yeah, that shit was hella
That's
funny.
funny.
But
That's actually pretty funny.
yeah, and like I said, people are like kind of bound to like just be in their own like little comfort circle,
Yeah.
and I wasn't like trying to like, I wasn't even thinking of like just going into like their comfort circle just to introduce myself or anything like that.
No, I get it. That it was a lot for sure. Okay, so change of pace. How about the Bay Area meetups? That's been pretty cool for you too, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, I think I enjoy the smaller groups,
Hmm.
as in like meeting people. I like smaller groups just because I actually get to talk to them
True.
and actually get to know them as a person rather than going around just trying to mingle with everyone.
Hmm.
But like for these Bay Area meetups and everything, we actually get to sit down, talk, like hang around, stuff like that. And it's pretty crazy how these people has been here for so long, but I never seen them.
Yeah.
You know,
Funny how it works.
yeah.
Okay, switching gears. What has your experience been like when it comes to joining the game show that I hosted and attorneys?
Um, I'm not gonna lie to you. I use attorneys to actually try to meet new people and just try to vibe and try to have fun.
Perfect. Yeah.
I don't mind being in a group where I know everyone. Like, I think it was like the underdog where I knew everyone besides one person, and like it was fine. I just kind of hoped like they didn't feel like they were left out because we talk like we're like really close or anything like that.
Hmm.
And I hope to kind of meet new people through this way too. It's just because like it kind of gives us time to like talk to each other in our own private little group chat, like have fun.
Yeah.
Like I
Without
try
doubt.
not to like exclude everyone, like how I said in the beginning. I just want like a nice place to come into and just be friends with everyone and just have a good time.
Mhm.
Um, the game show was fun. It just coincidentally I had to leave in the middle of it, so
Yeah,
and I
that's
was trying
tough.
to, yeah, I was trying to bank on Hazuki, but that food lost and he disappointed me.
The
Like this guy. No, I was
Ian.
kidding, but I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was kidding, but
Mm.
no, like I if for that game show I would have met Andy. I wouldn't have met like some people. I wouldn't get to know like I got to know like a little bit about like everyone too. It was fun. Like it was really fun.
Okay, more about streaming. What was your reaction to getting that big raid? Yeah, talk
I
about
was
that.
bro. Honestly, I didn't care. Honestly, like
Yeah,
to be
yeah,
honest
talk
with
about
you.
it. Like for
Okay,
those who
yeah.
don't even know what we're talking about.
So I got rated by Psalms and FNS. They did a double rate, and I was low key kind of brain dead at the point when people were coming into my chat saying like, "Be ready, get ready," something something like I was just so confused. I was like, "Who are these people?" And like, okay, so to be fair, I do know who FNS is and Psalms.
Hmm.
I do watch their TikTok. I do watch like some of their clips. They've been highlighted in like a lot of things that I watch. And at that point in time, I was just vibing, chilling with my friends, and all of a sudden I get a big ass raid.
Yeah.
And it was so flooded with like notification that I didn't see Psalms rated me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until I scrolled a little bit and I saw his name and I was like, fuck, I'm just gonna say the name. And then I was like, some mix. No, go, okay. Okay. Yeah. Um. So I butchered both their names because I actually didn't know who.
That was them.
Yeah, it was them. Like I was just so like so shocked.
Yeah.
But then again, like I said, it was just so many people. I did feel overwhelmed, and
Uh-huh.
I was actually like, damn. Imagine like they gotta pick anyone, and they picked me, and I was yeah, Jess was with me, and I was so fucking tired. Like, I kept saying my last game, my last game, my last game, my last game.
Yeah.
Like, and then 3 hours later, I finally got my last game in, and I was like, no, I'm fucking done. And like, I did show my appreciation to everyone, and like, to me, in reality, these people that are like so high up there, I'm grateful for them picking me and everything. But at the end of the day, they're not gonna know who I am at the end of the day. So even though it was a big raid and it was like a super cool opportunity to like experience, it wasn't it wasn't something like where if my friends were to raid me.
Damn, that's deep.
Yeah. Like even with like 4, 3, 2, 1 viewers, I care about that more. Just because at the end of the day I know they know me and I know them. And I can actually interact with these people and they actually give a shit where they could respond.
Hmm.
But if I were to go into like like I said, I'm very grateful and I'm not trying to sound ungrateful, but those big streamers and everything, if I were to go into their chat right now and say hi to them, I'm pretty sure they won't even see it or read it.
Yeah.
So that's why I was excited, but it really didn't mean much to me.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So how did it feel about them telling you to like turn on ads?
I was hella confused. I never did that. I was like, where the fuck is it, bro? Oh man, that was hella fucking funny. But like I said, I'm not here to make money.
Yeah, yeah. But
So,
that's like a common thing you would see, so.
yeah. So, but I mean, like, it was cool because now I know how to do it.
Wait, so you ended up doing it on your own?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I had Kai do it.
Okay,
like
cool, cool. But good thing that she was there and he knew how to do it too, so.
Yeah. So I learned how to do it. So I did it during the raid too. So
Okay. Alright, so back from when you started streaming versus now, what's like the biggest change?
I'm more of myself.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not fake. Back then, I used to like kind of, like I said, I did kind of care about my viewership and like my interaction with people. But now that like I kind of took the time and like invested more into getting to know people that I care about are like, and more different people that are like new to come into my chat and talk to me, I can actually like just be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing more makes me happy than someone being themselves when
Facts.
talking to me. Like I don't want to come in and them like being fake or like trying to keep me in their chat or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Okay. Last question relative to Twitch before we move on to the quick hitters and a few other things.
Mm-hmm.
All right, this is the question for the people. I'm sure you've seen this question on the podcast if you've gotten to this part. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I think so.
Shit. Okay. All right. So, how does it feel to be famous?
Dude, I'm not even famous, man. If anything, it doesn't feel anything. I don't
Okay.
even think I'm famous.
So noted. Noted. All right. Thank you for that. Modest.
Really, like, how can you tell that you're famous or not, though?
I don't know. It's just my question to you, so it's
Yeah, I know.
however you want to answer the question. You know.
Yeah. No. I'm like trying to see like you see what I mean though, right? Is like how can you just because a couple of people know who you are and stuff like that, how do you know that you're famous?
Yeah. Different measures. All good. All right. We both play Valorant. It's not the best thing to talk about, so I'm gonna ask you just quick questions relative to it.
Yeah.
All right. Best agent in the game.
Best agent, huh? Cypher, hands down.
Okay, it's your opinion. Okay, if that's the best agent, then who's your favorite agent?
My
Is it
favorite
also
agent?
Cypher?
Yeah,
Okay, so it Cypher's the best agent and your favorite agent. Okay, then how about the worst agent and your least favorite?
my least favorite, Jet.
Uh-huh.
Um, the worst agent, fuck, Sova.
Favorite map?
Ascent,
Least favorite map?
Pearl,
Best gun in the game?
Shorty.
And how about your favorite gun?
My favorite gun,
Yeah.
the Bucky.
So why the shorty?
Dude, it's just so troll killing someone with it, dude. You can have a rifle and that shit kills you in one shot, bro.
Okay.
It's so troll. That thing costs $200, dude. Imagine you buying a $2,900 like gun and then just losing to a $200 gun. Dude. Just like the fuck.
Okay.
Two pump chump.
All right. And what's the best skin set in the game, or just type of skin?
I would say Reaver. Reaver is like, I think it's the best. Like, I know it's like the first, like, I think Prime then Reaver came out, right? Something like that. I think Reaver came out first in beta, and that's why I bought. So it always became my favorite. Like the looks of it. I like the goth. I like the like dark looking. Yeah.
Wait, do you like which one do you like? The variant? Is it the
No,
whitish?
yeah, the whitish.
That Reaver one?
The-
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so why do you like Overwatch more than Valorant?
Because I'm good at Overwatch and I suck at Valorant. That's why. No, I was kidding. I think because I play Valorant so much lately, it just became very repetitive to me. Even
Yeah.
if I feel, I don't know, it just there's more options in Overwatch than Valorant, if that makes sense. Where gun plays can be different in Valorant, but there's different plays in Overwatch that you can do.
Okay. I've never played Overwatch, but I'll take your word for it. Like, to
Yeah,
understand it.
like switching characters in the middle of a match, or like
Okay.
trying different team synergy. Yeah, of course you can pick your agents, but you're locked in for 13 rounds with them.
I see.
Yeah.
First to 13, yeah. So, in your honesty, what do you think your true rank is in Valorant?
Even though I say I like gold 3 and shit. I don't think I'm bad. I just don't think I try or I play enough comp to actually figure it out. But I think D1 or P3.
Okay. P1 or P3? Okay, we're gonna talk about a few, or I'm gonna ask you a few more questions, just random questions, and then you give me your thoughts.
Yes, sir.
What's your favorite animal?
Panda Fox.
Interesting. Okay. Greatest fear.
I know we had this talk in the car. Being alone. Where everyone just like, leaves you, or like, not like in a sense of like losing connection with people. It's more like them dying, or like suddenly like leaving out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like the people you care about and the people you like live your life for and stuff like that, just one day disappears. Another one is probably like heights. Very scared of heights. Yeah.
Is there a quote that you live by or that you really like?
It's a quote I said earlier.
Roaches?
Yeah, it was no matter what you do or say in life, you can't stop anyone from talking about you, good or bad. So you why focus on that when you can focus on your life?
Mhm. Awesome. What is your greatest pet peeve or big pet peeves?
When people chew with their mouth open.
You're gonna reenact it? Okay, for sure. What do you feel like is your biggest accomplishment in life and also your biggest failure or regret?
Biggest accomplishment is stopping my mom from working and taking care of my family.
Nice.
Biggest regret, working on my career earlier and stop focusing on relationship because I was so invested in my relationship where I felt like how I said earlier, being so comfortable. And if I were to work towards my career and like be stable,
Hmm.
I feel like most of my relationship would have been a lot better
I see.
without the worries of like, you know,
Hmm.
yeah.
So this is like a similar question in a way, since you're kind of on that topic. But aside from what you just said, what are three lessons you would tell yourself, like if you were to be able to go back in time, like
Don't
just for your
compare
younger
myself.
self?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Don't compare myself to others. Mm,
It's a
treating
good one.
people like investment, as in like going back and thinking about like what I've done for them and how much time I put into them or like stuff like that. I wish I didn't think of that because it made me a very petty and a very mad person inside.
Yeah.
Um, and going back to the comparing one real quick, I meant like being envious about like how people's rate of growth is or like where they're where they are in life and stuff like that. I feel like I waste a lot of time worrying about that when everyone grows at a different speed.
True.
Also, and then the third one is gonna be should have done more investing, like into my like hobbies and like the things I actually like to do rather than find the things that like would make me stand out and fit in.
Hmm.
You
Hey, as of now, who are the top five streamers that you find yourself watching?
know.
Could be big streamers, friends, whatever, or whoever.
Yeah. So actually, I watch you a lot. I actually do leave a lurk in your stream at all times when you're on.
Appreciate that.
Of course, dude. Been friends for fucking 13 years. I was there for your first stream, and I'll be there for your last. If that ever happens.
Oh yeah, tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then rinse and repeat. Big five top streamers. I've been in yours. I've been in Mel's a lot. That's really hard, actually. Now I'm thinking about it. Kavion. I've been in Kavion stream a lot. Just because they degen too, so that makes it a lot easier for me.
Mm-hmm. True. Schedule.
Yeah. All Richards.
Umami.
Senpai. Yeah, sir. And big streamers. It used to be like Tim the Tatman. I will leave that man on all day.
He COD streamer or what does he
He's
do?
a yeah, the COD streamer. Yeah,
Okay.
but he went to YouTube, so I don't watch him anymore.
Ah, got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's top 5. What was your first impression of me? This is going way back. Unless
Yeah.
I don't know how else to ask this, but I ask everyone this.
Oh, dude, it's funny because I went back to your VODs and I watched some of your podcasts, and I knew you were gonna ask this, and I had to look back so far, and I remember why I thought about you the first time. Who
Okay.
the fuck's this guy sitting here?
That's how's that an impression? Okay.
Dude, no, it's because like
Okay.
I was like, why did I think like that, right? And I
Uh-huh.
was like, I think I didn't really like. I thought you were like one of those fucking. So my first impression of you was like, damn, he's one of these fucking quiet nerd kids.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I was like, damn, he's kind of a dick when he talks. And then when you show me your Yu-Gi-Oh cards, I was like, wait, he's cool.
For real. Don coming in and talking about it. Yeah. Thanks for that first impression.
Of course.
All right, I'm gonna give you an opportunity to, I guess, give people shout outs or talk about who has impacted you in a positive light on Twitch and in what ways, I guess.
Oh, yeah. So, first of all, I want to thank everyone that helped me or like got to know me. They are friends with me to this day or before. And like give me your time and like attention. Like I am a type of person that appreciate people that gives me their time and their efforts. And that's what I look for in friendship. And thank you, of course, Wilson, for always trying to encourage me back to go back to streaming or like encouraging me that I can do this or like like just being someone that keeps me up in a way where like if I feel like something is not for me, you kind of keep pushing me back into it. And it means a lot. Like more than you think. Like when you ask me when you guys start streaming again or like when what's your plans and stuff like that. It means a lot. It means you care. And like I said, effort, like from everybody, like Kev too. Got to meet that guy twice now or 2 times. It's pretty cool. Special shout out. That's so nice. Thank you, Angel. It's just all like I can't give specific like names out because a lot of people did different things for me and like have
True.
done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So it just goes to everyone that helps and talks to me. Thank you.
Thank you to everybody.
Yeah.
All right. Before we get to the last question, do you feel like there's anything else that you wanted to talk about relative to you, your experiences? Something we missed, maybe?
No, it's more like I want to know something, Will.
About you?
No, about you. Just a question to you.
Oh, that's episode 100, man.
Oh fuck, you're right. Okay, I'll save it for later. I'll write it down somewhere. Fuck
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Never mind. Never mind then. No, I don't have anything else to say.
All right. So the last question for me is, using your connections, who would you like to see as a special guest on this podcast? So like the next episode in the future, yeah. Who would you like to learn more about?
Have you ever had Lita on this?
Yes.
I see. I know you had Hein.
Mm-hmm.
What about Soju? I want to get to know more Soju.
Haven't had Soji yet, but he's on the list.
Is he? I want
Yeah.
to see him.
Awesome. Why is that? Why Soju?
Because, te- sad to say, but we're not close in like the internet or anything like that. But we are close in IRL. Like every time I see him, it feels like I've been friends with this guy for so long, and it's so easy to talk to him. But I never really asked anything personal or like got to know him like on a personal basis.
Yeah, that's fair. Soju milk. Hmm.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so
Yeah.
I kind of want to see about his life and stuff like that.
Cool. Cool. What do you have planned after this?
I think a couple of people asked me to play or something, and I probably want to clean this fucking Pokemon mess. Dude, look, hold up. Look at this.
Oh shoot, is that the new one? I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I
I
didn't even
told
know
your
what it looked
sister.
like.
Yeah, dude, it's hella cool.
Dang, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Is it sealed too, or like did you open the stuff already?
Bro, I have like 4 in the closet right now.
Oh my god.
It's
Wild.
expensive and yeah. I'll bring one over and we can open it together.
Yeah. Okay, so that's it from me, but if anyone in chat has any specific questions, please tag me and ask hi. We'll give
Mhm.
it like a minute. But are you getting the new Pokemon game?
No, that thing looks dookie.
What the?
That thing looks dookie.
Ouch. Okay, Ian. His opinion, it's fine.
Damn, man.
Right,
I'm
from
just saying, man.
Simon, why is High so cute?
No, why you?
Down. Okay. Straightforward like that.
How many Pokemon cards do I have? Cards or like sealed products, Angel? Because for cards, I think I have over like 2,000.
Oh, I had
Why
I
you
had
haven't
a
kissed me
list.
yet?
I had a list of his favorite Pokemon from earlier. So it's
Cards?
Fraligator, Dragonite, Lugia, Gengar, Slowpoke, and Typhlosion.
Cards around 2,000. I keep like the hollows mostly. I don't keep like the commons or rares.
That's true. You
Uh,
gave me a lot of your commons and rares.
yeah. Why haven't you kissed me yet? I want our relationship to be really slow, Minnie. So in the future, when I fuck you,
Okay.
it'll
Yeah.
mean a lot.
That you really went crazy with that one there. Anyways,
um, where do you see yourself in the future? Not here in San Jose.
to be determined then, where you see
Yeah,
yourself in the future.
just because I want to own a house and I want to move my family to like a nicer place.
All right,
Oh shit! I
Don's.
didn't even know you. I didn't even
What?
know you collect Pokemon, Angel. Uh,
Don's question: what is the best era of Yu-Gi-Oh, and why is it Synchros?
I'm not gonna lie, he's right. Synchros are so fun.
That's the only era I know.
Synchros
That's
was
the
like
only
one of
era.
the. I just think Synchros was super fun. That's it. Like that was like the best time in Yu-Gi-Oh. Like where decks didn't over dominate shit. Besides, Dad, Dark Arm Dragon.
Right before that, early Synchro era, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, are you planning to stream then, or since
No,
people
not
hit you up?
tonight. I actually have to go out in like a couple of hours. So
Fair, fair. Okay.
yeah.
Well, I'll close this out for the YouTube segment, and yeah, it's been a pleasure to have you on the podcast, man. Episode 74.
No, thank you for having me though. It was fun.
Yeah, okay, let me do the outro and I'll let you go.
Alright.
All right, folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Chang Gang podcast, specifically 74 featuring Hai, aka Haich3w. Hai, do you have any last few words for everyone tuning in or who will be seeing this on YouTube?
No, thank you for everyone being here and being included with our podcast today. I hope you guys got to learn about me and how I am as a person and what I had to go through with life. And I think this is like the purpose of having a podcast with Wilson is to actually be open and understand each other in a personal basis. Like I think it was very hard for me to open up in the beginning, but it got a lot easier when I did try.
Yeah, I really do appreciate that, and that's definitely my goal. So thank you
Yes.
again. Guys, we have the exclamation guest command. If you guys didn't know, Hai is a streamer as well, so please be sure to drop him a follow, show him some love whenever he does decide to stream. And you could also follow his other socials. It should be attached to his about section. But
Yes, it
yeah,
is.
cool. All right,
Aw, love you, Red.
take it easy, everybody. We'll have episode 75 coming soon. No set date yet, but you could look forward to seeing someone that you may or may not know, of course. And yeah, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, guys, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Appreciate all the love and support. Take care, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.